Welcome to your mom's house with Tom Segura, and
Christina Pajitsky.
welcome to your mom's house.
We're rolling, and it's funny that you mentioned that. Our very special guest today is the delightful and tremendously.
I hope you still feel that way. I hope you feel I'm delightful.
And just has an absolutely, I would say, a tremendously tempting torso. Dr. Drew, the Body Pinsky, is here. Many years ago, we got a peek behind the curtain of your upper body, and I got to say,
That was a long time ago.
You mask that on. You deliberately do that, don't you? On TV. Like
he's ripped. He's so ripped.
Not anymore.
I remember seeing him, and I was like, "What?" Because I'd seen you for a while on TV.
Yeah.
And then I see you shirtless at a pool, and I'm like, "What the fuck? This guy."
I must have had a towel around my waist or something, and just had my upper body out.
I mean, was that something that you got into a long time ago?
Weightlifting?
Yeah.
A long time ago, when I was 14.
And you did.
And I've almost never stopped. Yeah, it's weird.
But
and now it's become my meditation. Now I
do weightlifting.
I do. No, well, it's not even barely weightlifting anymore, but it's I listen to podcasts, and I just sit and I go into a meditative state.
Oh, wow.
And
does your wife talk during this podcast?
No, it's all Tom right now. He's excited.
I'm
you're here,
mesmerized by his body.
Yeah,
Listen, we're huge fans of you, Dr. Drew.
You're very
This is a fact. In 2008, Tom and I were living in the Rampart division. We were engaged. We were in a one-bedroom apartment. But Celebrity Rehab was the glue to our marriage.
Wow.
When we say
we're huge fans.
We've seen every episode. We were obsessed with you. I've listened to you since Loveline, since the Poor Man days.
That's kind of weird.
K-Rock. I
That's
was
crazy.
Like 13.
Can we go back to his body?
But
Here's what I want to know. Though.
yeah.
So one thing that stood out the most is that it really felt like nobody would know that you were this in shape dude, which is kind of like an interesting thing. A lot of people that are really into fitness would like make an effort to go like, I'm gonna show everybody and I'm gonna show them because I've earned it, which then you go like, oh yeah, that's a good point. But I feel like none of the clothes you wear on Celebrity Rehab or any media would flaunt.
That's true. Why aren't you flaunting it, Drew?
Because it takes away from
it took
credibility as
you'd be a weird early on in my career as a physician. I always thought that'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
I remember I used to wear green sometimes, and people would.
So did you have to shop for like oversized shirts? Was that part of your?
No, but I always had a problem with shoulder and arm fit. I've always had. It's just how I'm constructed.
Yeah.
And if I weightlift, this stuff gets big here.
Yeah.
And I remember a nurse came in and goes, "That's not doctor arms." I thought, "Oh, that's weird. I have to cover that all up."
Okay.
So wait, you saying you wore green?
Greens, surgical greens.
Oh,
surgical greens,
and you looked, excuse me, ripped in that.
I didn't look like the rest of everybody else. So I was like, that's weird.
I feel like after, I mean, I'm probably the one that just outed you, but I think for the audience, you're gonna have to post some thirst trapping pics.
All right, I will. I'll have to lose about 10 pounds first, but then I will. My wife, we were in Mexico last week, and my wife posted a picture of the two of us in a bathing. She's bionic. She has some insane genes. It's all just natural with her, God bless her. And or bless her heart, as they say in the song.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
And she took this picture. I'm like, for God's sake, at least make me sit up. I look like I'm like like MS or something. I look like ALS.
In this marriage now, we have a long-standing thing where it's like you take a picture of me, I'm reviewing it.
You get first right of refusal. It's nice.
Well, and I also look over the outfit and make sure he doesn't look homeless or weird.
Good. Yeah. You need that because a man, you don't think about that stuff.
No, you got to make sure somebody loves you.
That's what we say when we say a sad guy out there that's dressed all fucked up. It's because the wife doesn't love him.
Yeah, we go.
Someone doesn't love you, man.
Yeah,
you need love in your life.
Yeah, someone needs to love this guy.
So, Drew, how did you get into being this celebrity? I don't want to say celebrity doctor, but
it's weird.
How did it happen? How did you get on K-Rock?
I'll tell the long story. But you and I, we were talking about Stern before we.
Yes.
You're going on Stern this week.
Well, no, the wrap-up show.
The wrap-up show, which is these days equally as an honor.
I'm so excited.
I've sat in the real seat, the Howard interview seat, and that's reserved now for like Gwyneth Paltrow. You know what I mean?
It's
no one gets in there anymore.
So A-list.
Yeah, but when I was in there, I will tell you, it's a very interesting seat to sit in because it's like he hypnotizes you, like you're in a truth serum. Wow. You just got to go with him, and you just got to become abject honesty, and he just. has this amazing way of just getting into
He's
stuff.
such a gifted
best.
And he
interviewer.
follows his nose. It's from all his therapy and stuff, and all the treatment he's had. But I was this is the story I wanted to tell you. I was my mother just died recently. Very advanced age. Certain life should be celebrated when people, if they live into your 90s
Sorry to
and
hear
you've
that.
had a good life. No, everything's
Yeah.
fine. Everything
Yeah.
is fine. But I was cleaning up her basement. And I found a stack of my old Mad magazines, 1968 to 1972. I mean, a whole a cache of them. And I thought, oh my God, Howard loves these things. I bet he'd love this. So I went and I wrapped it up in butcher paper, and I went and bought a card, and I wrote a handwritten note, and I gave them to him. And I was just totally crestfallen when the next day on the radio, he was just going off about why would somebody send anyone this piece of shit, this trashy garbage, this spider webs. He goes, I'm going to wipe my ass and send him. I use toilet paper. He went on for 20 minutes about it, and then it came up again today. He went off again today because
Stop it.
apparently I brought it up with Corolla on the Adam and Drew podcast. And I told him I was looking forward to him hearing that he liked this gift, and I was just it stung pretty bad. Of course, it wouldn't be good radio if it didn't sting, right? It had to be real. And he would have been a mention became a 20-minute bit. That's his genius, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it stung. It still stung. And so Adam called Howard and told him that I was unhappy. So that came up on the radio today. So there you go.
How
So-
bizarre. And now I'm going to
and
New
you're
York.
going, and Gary was
So-
talking about, Gary then sent me a note. Listen
No.
to this. Gary sent me that tonight he got a text from somebody demanding an apology, claiming to be me. And I was like, Gary, no, a million miles from that. I understand you're doing
But you're
radio.
kind of hurt though.
If it didn't hurt, I also know, yes, I was crestfallen. I was stung. I was disappointed. But then I thought to myself, if it didn't sting, this would not have been good radio.
Right.
It just has to be that kind of truthful.
You
Well-
really just wanted him to be like, I
wanted him to go, oh my,
thoughtful thing.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I thought of him in a really poignant moment.
But then again, it wouldn't be Howard Stern if he wouldn't take something awesome and make it a neurotic, funny.
Absolutely. And Gary
moment,
Gary
right?
just goes, I sent him an email. And Gary goes, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
He goes, no good deed goes unpunished around here. And I thought, yeah,
That's true. That's 30 years he's been dealing with that.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Every little thing he's like, I thought you'd like that. And then Stern
Boss,
is like,
boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best because on that show they're always talking about that's the only place where if you do something good, it gets turned into
Look, he
something
said,
horrible.
he goes, whoops, hang on.
Hilarious.
Did you
Okay.
just text me?
Wow.
That's from Gary.
Someone pretending to be you demanding an apology. That's crazy.
hilarious.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So the long story, it is crazy talk. The long story is let's see if I can take it all the way back. I was a fourth year medical student, and I was
Out here, by the way?
in Pasadena, living less than a block from what was then K-Rock. And K-Rock back in the day when you were 13
Loved it.
was this little shithole
Yep.
over like a dental office. I mean, it was really a horrible. I wish we'd taken video and stuff of it because it was like never will be recreated. This kind of an environment, and they're kind of working on a documentary on it right now. So
On K-Rock?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and they're interviewing everybody and
and Rodney Bingenheimer.
Rodney, of course. And so I was really getting frustrated with music, and people started talking about the station, and it's up the street. How interesting! I started listening, Gabriel got kind of excited about it. People I knew that lived nearby were starting to go over there, knew people, and this guy calls me that it was hanging out over there, and he goes, "Hey, they got this show in the middle of the night. Apparently, two guys were just taking calls about relationships, and their program director told them they need to make it a community service show, right? They needed to make because they had community service hours, so they gave them midnight Sunday night to 3 a.m. Monday morning." Fantastic.
Yeah.
And but then they're trying to figure out how to make community service, and my friend, I guess, suggested me, or I'm in medical school or something. Maybe I could. And they call me and they go, "Hell, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to do a segment called Ask a Surgeon. You'll use big words. It'll be really funny." I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, what are you talking
Funny.
about?" So they finally, long story, they got me in there. I brought my textbooks, my gynecology texts, my infectious disease textbooks. I literally carried textbooks up there, really not having any idea what I was getting into, but I was freaked out. And lo and behold, I heard these just amazing things being presented to was the Poor Man and the Swedish Eagle in the middle of the night, and Scott Mason.
God damn, these Swedish Eagles still around.
Yeah,
too,
it's still in the
man.
series. And I thought I should come back. And what really stunned me was I was dealing with a lot of AIDS patients then, and continued to the next 5 years, doing tons of AIDS work. And no one was talking to young people about it. We'd just been to the sexual revolution. Well, the adults that perpetrated that never contemplated that adolescents would engage in sexuality.
Sure.
Condoms were behind the counter. You had to ask the pharmacist for them. The term safe sex hadn't been coined yet. People were not talking to young adults about this at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I was 24, and I was like, hey, I know what 19-year-olds are up to. We got to talk about this. And no one had ever heard. In fact, we just were transitioning from calling it grids to AIDS. We were calling it AIDS then, but we weren't calling it. We hadn't identified the virus yet.
Wow.
We're getting HTLV3. Remember that?
So
HTLV3.
Did you suggest talking about this on the air? Is that
No, they came to him.
They
right?
came to him, and so I just came in there as to do this little
But
segment.
Poor Man, right?
Poor Man and Eagle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is like, I got to keep coming back. And this hang out. So I'd sort of hang out in the hall, and if something came up or if I wasn't on call.
so crazy.
And I'd stay there from like midnight to 2 or something, hang around. And finally, I started sitting at the table with them and being a part of it. And it became apparent to me early that it was a two-man thing, like sort of a parent-child kind of conflict thing, or funny and straight, whatever. And I just thought it was important. And for 10 years, I was doing what I thought was one night a week community service. I thought it was just interesting. It was like my social hour. I'd meet interesting people. We'd have guests in there, and it was just interesting and fun. Met my wife through there. And stuff.
Really?
Yeah. And after 10 years of doing it one night a week.
10 years?
Yeah.
That's
for free.
Wow.
10 nights a week for free. They put it on 5 nights a week. Because I remember what happened was, they got a rate. They moved it to like 10 to 1 at that point because they kept people had a buzz around.
It had to be late because it was sexual content, right?
But after those 10 years, I mean, you had finished your internship and residency. And
I was out practicing and stuff.
What were you practicing? What kind of medicine?
General medicine, but I was also doing, at that point, let me think about this, late 80s, I was running the medical services in a psychiatric hospital. So I was doing an acute care inpatient thing. I was doing medical services in a psychiatric hospital, and then an outpatient medical deal. And
so much.
But it was a lot. I was way workaholic.
And I'm like, I have 2 podcasts to record this week. And a show.
No, I was way workaholic. Like sick workaholic. Like bad. And in 91... So now it was, I guess it was 8 years now. So it was 8 years of 10 nights, one night a week. They got a rating book on this show. They don't do ratings book normally. They had to ask for it or pay for it. And I'll never forget this. We got a 28 share.
What?
This is like
is that good? Sorry, I don't know anything.
This is in a market where if you get a 0.3, you're doing great.
Get out.
And it's a 28. And I remember I called the program director. I go, look, I don't really know much about this, but I think we're all participating in something here.
Yeah.
I didn't really know, but 28 seems like crazy to me. He goes, and I'll never forget this. It was Trip Reeb, who was the general manager, Carrick. He goes, if I had any balls, I'd put this on 5 nights a week. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on 5 nights a week. And I thought, because I was working from 5 in the morning to 10 at night at that point. I was severe workaholic. Severe. And Susan immediately then got pregnant with triplets.
Triplets?
Yeah. And so she goes, if you're out 5 nights a week, it's not community service anymore. You got to get paid.
Hell yeah.
So she sent me in. See, somebody loved me. Yeah. Sent me in, and I was hat in hand. Went, can I please get paid? I can't. We're having kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where it all got started. From
now,
the
was that first offer? And I don't imagine it's going to be crazy, but like, was it a decent offer?
$50 a show.
In what, 91?
$50 a show.
In
91, yeah.
Yeah.
But they sort of promised, like, we'll have a real contract if this goes, becomes a thing.
How long did you stay at $50 a show?
It didn't seem that long, because then it got syndicated and stuff.
So you started to get paid a little bit after
that. A little bit of that. And then in 95, these television producers turned up, and I was doing it with Ricky Rackman then.
Yeah. I remember that guy.
Yeah, and they were like, let's do a TV show. I'm like, I don't know. Interesting. It was all kind of an exploration for me. It's like I still thought I was doing kind of a community service because there was nowhere for it to talk to kids about this stuff, and I thought there was just so much encouragement of bad, unhealthy behavior. I thought, well, we're just going to be here and be this advocate for decent behavior. And there's a long story there too. But eventually, Ricky bowed out. He couldn't make a deal with them, and they turned to me and they go, "Who do you want to do with this?" And I was like, I have no idea. Just leave me alone to practice medicine. If you really want to, I can do this on Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon, and that's it. Otherwise, leave me alone. And I went out running one day, and I was in a spot. I remember the spot where I was when I thought, God, I bet that guy that does Mr. Bircham in the morning could do this. We had met once before, and I thought, I bet that guy can do it. So there's many details to get into all this, but they brought him out. They tested us. Everyone seemed to like it. Put us in a makeup booth, and they go, you guys work out your relationship. We'll start filming in an hour. And we filmed for like 9 hours the pilot for Loveline that ended up on MTV, which, by the way, at that point was a Fox show. Long story there, too. That got canceled and then picked up by MTV.
Well, MTV was, I think, a decent home for it because of the subject matter,
I
the
think
demographic.
it might have failed at Fox. That's absolutely right. But one sort of memory I have about that first day of filming the pilot is our stage manager, Tracy, came up to us, who she became our stage manager. Did it for like 5 years. And
who was your partner there?
What? It was with Adam.
It was with Adam?
Yeah, it was the TV now. This is MTV. Okay. He hadn't even started the radio yet. We were just doing this podcast, this pilot for the TV show, and we started doing the TV show before he came over to radio.
Yeah.
And Terry goes, how many years you guys been working together? We looked at each other and went, we met this morning. Yeah. And I thought, that must mean something.
That's good.
That must be good.
That's significant.
Yeah, I think that probably means chemistry.
I always wondered this, like, without like knowing, so much about the show, but you being a doctor and having to, think about the advice you're giving out, whether it's being like healthy and ethically right.
Yeah.
Did you ever have those like moments, even though it's entertainment, where somebody asks something and Adam, being comedic, gives advice that you're like, you cannot suggest
constantly?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that was the whole show. I think, on the radio.
I don't know.
No, the radio version, which Tom was
but I mean, like, not just in like, hey, no, that's bad advice. I mean, like, where you get serious about it, where you're like,
it was not so much with Adam because he really had a pretty good instinct on things, but Ricky and Poor Man more of that.
Really?
I actually got almost in a violent fight with Jon Favreau over this.
John Favreau, the director?
The director. He had just done Swingers, right? Wasn't that his big breakout?
Yeah, that's right.
And he was the guest on Loveline, the TV show. And this guy calls in, and he was clearly schizophrenic and dangerously psychotic and like in danger of self-harm or harming other people. And complaining about, in a paranoid way, about people who are trying to make him take his medication. Then Favreau goes, don't let anybody tell you what to do. Do not take those medicines. And I went, whoa, you got to stop. This is dangerous. This guy's actually sick. Who do you think you are? I'm like, oh, dude, don't go there when you're talking to a sick person.
Yeah.
And we got into it. And
see, that's the shit I want to see. I want to watch that episode.
And then then on the next, so we would film show after show after show. We didn't know any better. We'd film 6 shows a day. Adam and I would change our clothes, film another, change clothes. And the next show I had a panic attack, and I had to leave the stage because I was like, I didn't realize, because I was still upset from this fight with John.
From that, right.
Mm-hmm. And Adam comes into my dressing room. He goes, "Hey, get back out there. If I have to spend one more minute in this goddamn studio than I have to because of you, I'm going to kick your ass. Get your ass in there." And he was like, and ever since then, he's like, you see, I cured your panic attacks. Anybody has panic attacks.
Oh, my God. Well, that show, Loveline, the radio show taught me everything about sex.
You didn't have anywhere else to go. And my idea was the same. In addition to wanting to talk about AIDS and things like that, my naive notion at 24 when I started doing is I wish if I had something like this.
Right.
If I knew somebody with this fund of knowledge that I know have, what would I have wanted to know? And I retained that sort of naive posture for about most of the way through the run of that. It got a little more involved once, towards the end of the 90s, people were kind of more sophisticated. I think they were getting information from different sources and things, and then the internet that's the end of it.
Do you find that in entertainment, because you live out here, you're involved in entertainment, and you also know so much about mental health, are there more like actors and comics and whatnot that are prone to mental health issues?
Yeah. So I told you I ran the psychiatric medical service. Well, then I transitioned over to running their addiction services, and really a lot of my time was spent running an addiction unit for 91 to 2011, essentially. So 20 years I ran a drug unit. I used to hang out there for a long time before I started running it, and that's how I sort of learned about it and stuff. So about 25 years in addiction medicine. And Celebrity Rehab came out of just somebody, a really good producer named John Irwin, just came to me and said, "Do you want to do this?" I'm like, wow, this would be really great to teach people about this,
Yeah.
but this cannot be done. It's just not possible. Hey, you're kidding yourself. And he went to the hospitals, and they looked at him like, you got to be nuts. And we finally figured out, I figured out a way you could do it, which I took my team and I put them under a residential facility. I knew the director there, and he wanted to do it. It's a long story. But in the course of all this, a professor at SC in the business school, he's actually a behavioral economist specialist, and I put together a questionnaire. He was interested in sort of the business of entertainment, and he and I had a conversation with. He's my neighbor, and I said, "Well, you really should understand the people that are the product, the people that are the celebrities and the actors." And I said, "And they're all sick. I know they are because I talk to them every night, and they have an inordinate tendency to have had trauma and other things." And he goes, "Well, let's test that because it was not published anywhere." So we sort of figured out a way to do that. We used something called a narcissistic personality inventory, and everybody that came on Loveline filled one out for 2 years. And so we collected 250 profiles on people, and it was significant celebrities and reality, a good mix of reality comedians and musicians and things. And we analyzed
all have malignant personality.
Well, not malignant. So it turned out, the malignant was the female reality show group. They were like in the malignant personality range.
Like some politicians.
We wanted to do politicians. That's our next study, frankly, because we know it's going to be the same. Comics had more trauma.
Yeah, totally.
Musicians had more substance, right?
Substance abuse
substance
problems.
addiction, and we were able to show that overall, somebody who pursued being a celebrity was more likely to have narcissistic personality traits and narcissistic injury and trauma and substance abuse too. We didn't publish that day. We just published the narcissism thing.
It's fascinating.
And it became international press. It was spread all over the world. We ended up writing a book about it called The Mirror Effect. And so, yes, the point is somebody.
I got to look up this book now.
It's called The Mirror Effect, and someone that it's very. We wrote it in such a way that was pub for general consumption.
Think of this industry that we're in, that we participate in,
Yeah.
as in large part, like it is like the thing we wanted to do. We do it. We do it for a living. We enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
But part of me always goes like, this overall might not be the healthiest. Business to be in.
We were able to show that it was a bid to solve those traumas. We were able to make a connection between the.
Have you been talking to my therapist?
Yeah. And so it's a bid to solve. It's supposed to fill our emptiness. It's supposed to fill what's wrong inside.
Yeah.
And of course it
works. It works every time.
It works when you're up on stage and stuff, and then it doesn't work.
And then the other thing, my dad always brings this up to me about like all
Thanks,
sort
Dad.
of his analysis of like
Is your dad a
Hollywood culture.
psychologist?
No. But he'll his outside observation, especially when what was that? I hear something. When there's like a suicide or overdose or something like that, he'll be like, he always talks about how it's such a struggle to make it in this business.
Yeah.
But he's like, man, the struggle once you've made it has to be
right. So we started looking at all that, and you got to remember, some people, people that become say actors and have no discernible skill other than kind of acting, and they put it all on this.
Yes,
you're willing to risk it all to be celebrity. It's like. That's a pretty heavy bet. You know what I mean?
It's a big bet.
And they don't back it up with any other training or any other disciplines or work. They just, I'm going to be this and that's that.
It sounds really dumb when you break it down.
Right?
It sounds like
right? Well, but at least comedy, at least there's a road and a discipline and a procedure.
It's a skill. I don't know.
Yeah, and we were also able to show that celebrities that had skills were less narcissistic. So like a cello player or a pianist.
A craft,
less,
if you will.
A craft.
Well, not that acting's not, but I guess more tangible.
A professional craft, like journalism.
You could sell it on the street, kind of.
That's right. That's right. And so we were able to show that. So, and again, the reality shows the worst.
Oh, there's no craft.
Hey, man, it's me. That's it.
Yeah.
Just me.
You can,
and it's
by
me.
the way,
now. Right?
That's no psychological training. You can pick that up from reality people.
That's right.
Like,
hey guys, I was on Road Rules, but in the early '90s. Come on, we didn't fight. You
guys didn't come. That whole group came on Loveline, the TV show. You were part of that. Right?
I wish, but no.
Sorry. But the other thing is it doesn't fix the emptiness, and it also exposes people to shame because there's a disconnect between the adulation that they're getting from the outside and how they feel on the inside. And then they're fearful that people are going to see that inside stuff. And then if they are really famous, they have a group around them that insulates them from consequences.
We talk about this all the time.
Yeah, and so they don't get more addiction than anybody else. Well, they do a little bit more, but per our data. But they're not worse addicts. It's just it spirals out further because there's no one there to bring them back.
Is there any? Because I was thinking how unnatural it is to become a really big celebrity.
Yeah.
Is you think
Especially about anything else. Think about that. They have no other job.
It's
or
no-
anything.
I know, and
how would
also-
you have a real?
when you see
Crazy.
super celebrities,
Yeah.
like there's almost always these weird personality traits that you see in quirks. You know, like the Michael Jacksons, where you're like, Jesus Christ, but you also can't wrap your head around how famous that guy
Yeah.
is. I wonder if there's any healthy way to prepare yourself, not really prepare because most people aren't going to have it, but like how to deal with that level of celebrity. It just seems like it's so much.
Most people that I've met that are semi-sane had some other career before.
Really.
Yeah. I mean,
Making it later seems to be a healthy
and later, yeah. Well, I'm even thinking of like Tom Jones and Julio Iglesias. When you meet them, they just go, "Hey, man, I was just a soccer player," and then all of a sudden, this weird thing happened to me. It's like, but
Yeah.
I'm still that guy. I like playing soccer and I like singing. It was good. And look, they're as bewildered as anybody.
Yeah.
As opposed to, "Hey, man, this is me. This is what it's all
Oh,
about."
gosh.
Which is a different
It's
thing.
dangerous.
See,
You
I always-
identify with
we
it.
talk about too with comedy. Really, the best comics in the world are like at least 40 and usually late 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a much healthier example for comics to see that, like, because it doesn't happen usually at 22. You know, I mean,
Right.
Eddie Murphy, yeah, but like basically comics work for a long, long time. I think that prepares a lot of them for that exposure.
Yeah, that
because
makes
they're
sense.
a more grounded.
Yeah, it's
you
a
know.
discipline. You've
Yeah.
been serving a craft.
Well, and you're also treated like shit for so many
That's
years.
right, yeah.
It actually is quite hard to get an ego from comedy. It's
Yeah.
very humbling.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's
you can be
incredibly humbling.
Seinfeld, but you're working on that new hour. You're going to eat shit after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's this constant thing of suffering really built into stand-up, which is
Yeah.
great.
Which is like
Keeps
you
you
find
humble.
if it's more like blue collar
Yeah.
amongst entertainment.
yeah, but it's also the new rock star in a weird way for the
For
last
now.
5 years or so. Yeah,
Lately it's been like
it's
people
been
are-
very interesting. Oh, even though the millennials are screwing that up.
yeah.
Well, I'd like to
By
talk
the-
to you about that too.
Do you think our president is antisocial?
Oh my God.
I think it's just straight up narcissism.
Just narcissism.
Well, we have so many people we'd like you to analyze
I know.
on today's
but
show.
politics to me, and even just questions about what are the right and wrong ways for
Yeah.
government to function and stuff, to me is so fantastically complex. I just go, I don't know. It's hubristic to think I would know the right thing
Correct.
to do. I started worrying about Trump, and I started thinking, okay, where else have we seen guys like this? Okay, well, Andrew Jackson for sure, very much. It's like, fucking Andrew Jackson was Yosemite Sam. I mean, he was. I mean, you read anything about him? He was nuts.
Yeah.
And it worked out okay. Not so good for some of the Indians in the southern area of the United States, but it worked for the country. It worked out okay. And then I thought, oh my God, Teddy Roosevelt was a malignant narcissist.
Was he? I did not know that.
And bipolar as hell.
Bipolar also?
Oh. I mean, he never took a meeting sitting down. You have to follow him through the park, or he marched through a park and climb hills and stuff. And everything was outdoors and moving and shit. Blah, 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 blah. And I thought, well, he's my favorite president. So I don't know. Narcissist, bipolar is good, bad. I don't know. It's scary.
It's interesting.
I didn't consider this as a kid. You know, as a kid, presidents are just kind of like
Yeah.
gods. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But as I became an adult, I remember one time this conversation about presidents
Yeah.
and personalities came up, and somebody said something along the lines of, "Can you imagine the ego you would need just to run?"
Yeah,
for
just to
president?"
say I wish to
Insanity.
be that.
And
Who wants to do that?
I remember thinking about that and having one of those like aha effects where I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus, I've never considered that they all have to be pretty
Absolutely.
fucking,
Don't you need a
At all.
personality
Maybe
disorder?
Jimmy Carter not, and
Right.
he didn't work. It didn't work so good.
Yeah,
it didn't work so well in the office.
you
The
have
greatest,
to really think you're the shit.
Yeah, and I have a weird preoccupation with reading presidential biographies because I just one day had a similar kind of epiphany. I was looking at the penny, going, "Hey, that guy in the penny is not just a profile; that's a person."
Yeah.
and I know something about how people work right now. what happened to that guy's childhood? I need to know. You know? And so I started reading. Now I've read like 20 Lincoln biographies, and I'm reading Grant's biography right now. Cherno's new thing, so good, so.
Wait, now
Grant's
Lincoln.
biography.
Oh my God!
Hold on, wasn't Lincoln severely depressive and?
Well, there's an interesting wrinkle in that. Yes, he was. He was sort of bipolar, maybe too, but he really an interesting wrinkle. It finally started making sense to me because it has to all kind of fit together in my head the way I know how people are. I keep jumping out of you.
No. I
we're
just
making
looked
sure
at
you
Tom's
can
like,
see
is
your
that-
beautiful
I
face.
just looked to make sure. Sorry.
So a guy that wrote a book called The Lincoln Marriage discovered a whole trove of letter correspondences between Abraham Lincoln and a doctor in Springfield who he started seeing before he married Mary Todd. And he found all these letters where Lincoln was convinced he had syphilis. I think that's why he broke off the first engagement with Mary Todd. He saw a prostitute, became convinced. There's all this story, but he went by the river, and there's all this. That's where the prostitutes hung out, and became convinced he had syphilis. Dropped the marriage with Mary Todd. This doctor in letters reassured him, take this mercury, you'll be fine. You can go ahead and get married.
Mercury.
Mercury is how they treated syphilis back
They
then.
treated a lot of things with mercury.
Well, and there's all this correspondence going all the way into the White House. He remains on the mercury most of the way through his presidency. Do you know what the main side effect of mercury is?
No.
Depression.
Depression.
And I thought, oh, that's why. And he had severe vegetative depressions. There's a story of him pulling Willie, I think it was Willie or Tad, down the street in a wagon down Pennsylvania Avenue. And they said they found him at the Capitol building, still dragging the wagon upside down with Tad like a mile up the street.
What?
Yeah. He would just go in these vegetative depressive
That's another
states.
thing, by the way, that I feel
He
like
was severely suicidal at one point too. Who's the guy you used to sleep in the same bed with? I forget his name. He had to had to put on watch with him. I'm sorry.
Wow.
another thing that I think, I've always heard about, and obviously you get informed of these things, little by little and more, but especially since podcasts, and you start to hear from fans and is I can't get over how at least it appears to be how many people suffer from depression.
Oh, it's 50% of us have some sort of diagnosable.
50%.
Yeah,
That's so
diagnosable.
high.
Very common. At least in a lifetime, we'll have a depression. I had a depression. I had severe. I kind of probably have a tendency towards it. I had panic and anxiety disorder and all that bullshit in college. Terrible.
And look at you.
It
You're
was awful.
successful and happy.
I'm okay.
now.
I'm okay now. Yeah.
But you can go on despite these things.
They're treatable. They're
Right,
part
right.
of
But
life.
that's the thing is you gotta.
But I'm fearing now finally, and I was a real advocate for this forever, but now I'm thinking we've over medicalized it. We've overdone it now where you're not allowed to solve these problems through living, and ordinary misery is no longer an acceptable component of
That's
life.
right.
Yeah.
You have to have a Coke and a smile all the time, right? You should be happy all the time.
Sigmund Freud, when he arrived on this continent, was asked a question, Dr. Freud, what do you expect to accomplish here in the United States? He said, well, I hope to be able to finally distinguish between true mental illness and ordinary misery.
That's a great quote.
Because ordinary misery is part of living.
Part of living, yeah.
Yeah. And we
right.
just don't tolerate that.
Because
here in
you
this
should
country.
That's
feel
right.
somber and sad.
There's loss, there's misery, there's anxiety, there's shit that's stress. Life is stressful. It is part of living.
But I mean, I meant to say, like, when I brought just that, like, the amount, the frequency with which it occurs, the number of people that suffer from it. From podcasts, I swear, I see so many messages that say, like, I suffer from depression, but like I find some relief in listening to podcasts. People tell me
great.
that all the time.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'd rather they do that than take a medication. Or, you know.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, if you can do it with that, that's overcoming ordinary. That's being, depressive. That's not a major depressive episode,
Right.
And again, people I think are not schooled on the fact that they should expect to feel down sometimes.
Yeah, I think exactly that life is suffering a lot, and there's
Ooh,
shit
that's
sandwiches.
the Hungarian thing.
Yeah, it is.
Life is suffering.
But I do feel like,
No,
hey man,
I'm the
there's
East European thing too.
Yeah.
It's like we suffer.
But you live despite it.
They take great pride in that shit. You should look up Hungarian insults.
Oh.
It's all
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's creative.
because of life, we will never eat, and death is upon us. It's
Yeah,
like all
but-
their regular
But we also
expressions.
party and we love and we
And they
have
make porn.
strong
It's great.
emotions and we
Hungarians
make
make porn?
the best porn
lot.
in
What?
Eastern Europe. It comes out of
that's-
Hungary.
That is
That's their main
That's all
export.
us.
That's the
dude.
Paris of porn, man.
I
You
thought
gotta get
Czechs
food
did that.
back.
Those Czech
No,
Czechoslovakians.
Those Czech girls will come over.
It's my
It's
tribe.
all Hungarian honeys.
It's my tribe.
Yeah.
so
we have
good.
this kind of game we wanted to play.
Okay.
So we have some like classic. We play a lot of. Usually we have a lot of
We haven't
clips.
even done the show intro.
Clips of
I
what?
figured we'll just play it at the top. and
Okay,
then,
all
you
right,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
spare 'em
We
then.
play video and audio clips from all over the internet. People send in like, watch. It's like just some content to basically address.
Okay.
What we were hoping that you would maybe take a swing at
All right.
is, do you think the person involved in the clip is taking drugs?
Is it one of you two?
No, it's not
Okay.
us.
Okay. Or
Perhaps mentally ill.
okay.
Perhaps both.
What do I think is going on here?
What do you think's going
Yeah,
on?
what do I think's going on here? That's the segment.
That
There
is
you
the
go.
segment.
That's
Here
a
we
good
go.
one.
Before you have sex, if you want to be horny for 2 or 3 hours like you've never been in your life, and you have access to marijuana too, good weed, listen to me. True weed alone can get you really hornier than normal, but Benadryl, take about 10, 12 Benadryl before you want to have your sexual fun with your partner or whatever you do or masturbate, all right?
So what do you think?
What's going
All right.
on here?
So I'm just looking at the environment there around him. He's not exactly living in Versailles. So there's like he's sitting in an old sort of angry grandpa recliner.
Yeah.
And he looks like a young version of angry grandpa.
He
to be
does look
fair.
like a younger version of it.
He
Squalor.
has some COPD. I don't know if when you could see his the upper chest.
Yeah.
He was using his accessory muscles to breathe, which means he's got some chronic lung disease. When he takes this balloon, which I imagine is nitrous oxide,
I feel like you have Steven Seagal abilities. You could just look him and break it down.
he does his pupils blow. If you look at his
Yeah,
pupils, he's got
pupils are
dilated pupils,
very dilated.
which nitrous can do that. And he's also got stare, which means you see the white above the iris.
Oh my God, come back every week. This is the best analysis.
So this is all.
What happens when you see the white above? that?
This when you see white above, that's drugs or hyperthyroidism. It's about the only two things that will do that. With meth being the probable cause.
So this is probably
I'm putting
hyperthyroidism.
I'm putting meth and nitrous in the same dude with a
Wait.
tobacco problem because he's got emphysema.
How does 10 to 12 Benadryl affect somebody? Is that a good
what's
idea?
that
That
about?
makes you agitated. That actually goes the other way. It
course.
could delay ejaculation, which is what he's talking about. Yeah, I don't think he really understands what he's talking about, but that's what he's talking
Would
about.
you recommend somebody take? 10
I
to
would
12?
not recommend it because you get something called anticholinergic delirium from that, where you really can get very delirious. You can get really wacky. And some of the weirdest psychoses I've seen have been anticholinergic delirium from drug overdoses.
Really?
I mean, they just get wild.
And that could be
Wait,
from Benadryl.
But what
Yeah, you
causes
take
that?
enough.
Wait, what?
it's the
is-
anticholinergic side effect.
what is anticholinergic?
It's what antihistamines do in high
It
doses.
blocks the
The
histamine.
cholinergic system gets blocked
right,
then.
right.
So it's anticholinergic, and it's a really serious side effect. I mean, you can get sick.
So you're again. We would never want to label anyone, allege anything.
I don't know this guy.
Right.
I don't know nothing about him, but he put this video up, and I'm just analyzing what I see.
And in your
I'm just
professional opinion, there's a probability that maybe drugs are involved.
yeah, because of reasonable probability.
Now, 10 to 12 Benadryl, it'll make you agitated,
Yes.
which I imagine too. I thought,
Which helps you not
Yeah.
come.
Well, people
I think that's what really.
Finally, you have an excuse, and so people think because 2 Benadryl makes me more tired, maybe 3 it makes me 4, and
Yeah.
you get above 4 and you're getting into trouble. I get exploding head from 2.
What's
well,
that?
I
about
can't
50
even
milligrams.
take. This stuff gives me panic
Exploding
attacks.
head syndrome. You ever heard of exploding
No.
head? Exploding head is you're asleep and all of a sudden you get like this exploding sound and it wakes you up like somebody knocked you on the head.
Really?
It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, it's called exploding head.
I totally, by the way, not to be
This is killing me.
sorry, but I really thought you were talking about your dick when you said it. I was like, I gotta hear
Well,
that.
exploding head. I'm gonna have that. No, I'm gonna sleep
About an hour later, when you feel it just kicking in, smoke your weed down.
Oh.
And then
Funny, weed is the least of my concerns here
go
by
ahead and get
far.
horny, and
Not even
I
thinking about
promise
that.
you, it'll be millions and times.
What is the weed? Like
Millions of times better.
What's the deal from a professional standpoint?
can't.
What is the deal with weed? Like,
What's the deal?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, we grew up in this era of like. I mean, when we were kids, it was like, you better watch out.
Right, the DARE
And
program.
It's still Schedule 1. People go to prison. but,
Schedule
like,
1 is a bizarre.
It's a
to me.
bizarre thing.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But then you go, like I'm saying, like in recent years, you had this whole medical
yeah.
movement.
Which was unfortunately a sham. I'd rather just be legalized.
And then now recreational has been evolving.
It's coming.
So there's no medical value.
No, there's some. There's some, but with that whole
the sham with
everybody's got to have a.
But like some cancer patients
in the last 8 years of my career, I never treated a single patient without a marijuana prescription. So no, when you go in, they don't even ask you if you have addiction or treated for addiction before. They just, here's your marijuana prescription. And so that's bad medicine. I just care that it's bad medicine. That's all. I don't care that it's medical marijuana. It has some utility for some people. I've recommended it for people. I just recommended it last week for someone. I'd much rather see somebody on pot than opiates.
Sure.
Much.
Yeah.
And I think our laws are insane. Alcohol and tobacco are good, right? Really good.
No,
LSD should never be touched by human hands. Like what?
Yeah,
it clearly has clinical utility. I mean, end of life, LSD may be very useful, and cannabis is just cannabis. I mean, why is that one? There will be problems, and Colorado is sort of finding its way through that. But
problems in terms of also
just significant problems. Adolescents getting their hands on it.
Right.
People getting addicted here and there. People having untoward side effects from it. Not very common, but I've treated a lot of it. Treated a lot. It's very difficult to treat.
Is it a psychological addiction?
No, addiction is either you can stop or here's what addiction is. It's a biological disorder of the brain where you cannot stop.
Right.
So if you can't stop,
you're addicted.
Yeah, if you can't stop, you have an addict. You're an addict. If you can stop, you're either not an addict or earlier in your disease process where you still have control. Please get control over it. Right. Don't let it get out of control.
Oh, okay. So you can also spot somebody in during going down that path.
Sure, because addiction is a spectrum disorder from predisposed to incipient, mild, moderate, severe, and then end stage.
Yeah, because it's interesting. I think we see it most. Probably most people are familiar with like alcoholism.
Yeah, alcohol, I think it's a little clearer. Yeah. Alcohol has the unfortunate other category of the binge intermittent alcoholic, which is kind of a weird category that's difficult to treat.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Bert I'm not sure it's even intermittent anymore, but he had sober October. It all went well.
Yeah, I was competing with him,
and he was very concerned that plane rides would be difficult.
Yeah, but you know what? He
I knew he'd do okay because he and I talked about it. He's in that more earlier stages of it. He's not out of control. I didn't say earlier. I didn't say early stages. Earlier.
Yeah.
He still has some control.
Wait, can I ask you something? Why is
so? This is when you should nip it in the bud, though, right?
This is the time to
now's
stop.
You got to be careful. Yeah.
Why do they consider alcoholism a disease if it can be stopped at will?
Yeah. So what is a disease? You need to define disease first before you know. I'll check the camera for you here.
You're the best.
So thanks. So you have to define disease and then decide, does this particular condition or disorder meet criteria for disease? So have at it.
Well, what's cancer? It's when the cells go nutty and...
Okay, so it's an abnormal physiology. Cells go nutty.
Sure.
Abnormal biophysiology.
But you can't will yourself out of cancer, but you can with alcoholism, right?
Early in the stages, but later on you can't.
Oh.
But keep going. So it's abnormal physiology. Where does the abnormal physiology come from? We're going to reason our way through
Maybe
this.
Genetics?
Genetics? Is it strictly genetics?
Yes. No, lifestyle.
So genetics and environment interact to give you an abnormal set of cell biology, right?
Right.
Okay. And that how do I know that cell biology is going on, the abnormal biology, the pathophysiology? How do I know that happened?
I'm a comedian.
No, come on. You can reason.
Wait. Because there's symptoms.
There's signs and symptoms. There's signs and symptoms. So somebody like me comes in and goes, those signs and symptoms mean pathophysiology here. Let's look at his genes. Let's look at his environment, see how that occurred. What do those signs and symptoms do over time?
A breakdown.
They grow.
They progress.
Get worse.
Or they resolve. Right. Or they become chronic. They have what's called a natural history. And then what does somebody like me try to do with natural history?
Well, you
try to alter it. We try to alter it. We try to treat it. We do treatment. So a disease is a complex relationship between the substrate and the environment that results in an abnormal state of physiology reflected in signs and symptoms that follow a predictable pattern, we call a natural history, with a predictable response to treatment. Well, addiction fits that model perfectly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where people freak out is, where's the cancer? It's in your brain. The cells are abnormally functioning in your brain. The pathophysiology is there, and we know a lot about it now. And it's some of it's chronic, some of it doesn't get better, and so it's always there, loaded up, ready to go if you re-expose yourself to the chemical. And so, it goes. And once you have real addiction, I mean, bona fide addiction, volition has nothing to do with it. You can't choose anything.
Oh, that. So then
volition is completely sidelined.
So that's not. Is it not treatable at a certain point?
Well, it's treatable, but you have to get somebody in a place where they can't use their volition, where they start to understand that any thought, any impulse, any what we call stinking thinking, any desire I have, is my disease. Because all the wonderful functions we have, rational, prefrontal, and all that stuff, all is under the influence of distorted motivation, which is, as opposed to survive and thrive and protect your family, it's use. That becomes your sole motivation.
God damn.
And that's a broken state of brain.
But can I get back to we were talking about Bert. I don't want to talk about.
Let's talk about Bert.
Well, let's talk about Bert, but I don't want to
bash him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bash Bert.
No. But my question about someone like him is like, isn't there like people? We'll use him as an example. Who like he's a late night guy. He likes to have fun. He can party, drink a bunch. But then he can also
he does not have what we would call a high biological genetic burden.
Right. Okay.
There are some people they start and kaboom. You go. I'm reading this book on Grant. Grant had real deal alcoholism. He was like Andy Dick. I mean, real deal.
Yeah.
When he would drink, he would just go all the way to the mat every time.
Every time.
And he couldn't do anything about it.
So there are grades to this.
There are different biologies to it, and there's grades to it as it
but he could be. I mean, I'm saying,
but you can all end up in the same place. Is the bad part.
So Bert can go. I'm saying Bert could go south, but he could also be fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could live his whole life like this. Does he go?
He can stay at this level for his whole life?
He could, sure. It doesn't have to progress, particularly if he takes periods of abstinence and stuff like he's doing. And he felt good during that abstinence.
He felt great.
And it was reinforcing to him, so he might have more periods like that. So.
Yeah, he felt great.
Yeah.
He felt great. It was. I mean, I think it was healthy for everybody. But
Even Joe Rogan was talking about how he felt better not smoking pot, which is like, yes, dude.
Yeah.
You can't take a mind-altering or brain-affected substance every day and not have it affect something.
Yeah. Plus, we did a bunch of hot yoga classes, so that also made us feel good.
Good.
We did 15 in a month.
Good.
90-minute classes.
Great.
So we were So
did you go into Joe's think tank, sensory deprivation?
No,
tank?
I didn't go into sensory deprivation, but I mean, like it was a fun. I think exercises and discipline are just healthy. So like even if you're not somebody that goes like, let's say you don't like, it wasn't hard for me to not drink for a month, but it's still an exercise in discipline. So I enjoy challenges, and I like doing that kind of thing.
It is, but I push back a little bit against thinking about people that consume excess alcohol as not being disciplined, because some of the most disciplined people I know can still have a problem over here with the alcohol. And I'm thinking of Grant and Grant stuff. Grant was super disciplined, but man, if he got exposed, it's like, watch out.
Yeah.
So and he would spend long periods of time. He was committed to essentially early AA, which were the temperance movements. He actually signed temperance agreements and stuff because he knew what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
And it's funny when people have the real deal alcoholism.
Yeah.
They know. They know exactly what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think's going on here?
Hi, Melanie.
And I'm Scotty O.
With Ecstatic Hearts Tantra.
Uh-oh.
And we just want to share that there are many ways to orgasm.
Oh, geez.
You don't actually have to be having sex. You can orgasm just from hugging.
Drugs?
Delusional?
Mental
illness.
Well, let's break it down.
Can we analyze the physical again?
Well, here's the deal. He was not having an orgasm. He was pretending to have an orgasm.
Yeah.
She might have been having an orgasm. I don't know how she got there. He might have been holding a vibrator or something. I mean, who knows? But first of all, we need to teach them both how to look into a camera.
Yeah.
That's very disconcerting with them looking off camera like that.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're being interviewed by somebody. They're way off camera. And then they're in a convention center. Like this has been some sort of tantric sex meeting, which is gross. See, right? The whole thing's gross. Weird,
yeah.
right?
It's weird.
But he looks very happy that they're there.
Yeah.
She looks full of shit, basically.
And they have that,
like
the
that
full of shit stare.
Yes,
where it's
I'm
kinda
gonna.
going off.
To me, it's just full of shit. It's just like,
Right,
come
so
on.
I agree.
He's just happy to be there. He's like, yes,
And
honey,
especially when you start
Yeah, he just wants to
reaching
get laid.
higher states
Right,
of
that's
orgasm.
right.
He
And if
doesn't
you
care.
find a path to get laid, and like you hadn't been laid in a while,
That's
you're gonna
his
stick
way.
in that path. You're
A
gonna-
male?
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
kidding?
Yeah, but that's really what's happening is she's into it, and then he's just using
He's
this to
coming along.
get
Yeah.
laid.
Yeah.
So she's delusional
Right.
about this horseshit. Is
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
to get attention? Is that what we're doing at the cum hugs? Is that what this is for?
I'm
The
guessing.
file is called Cum Huggers, by the way.
I am guessing that again, it's some sort of weird gathering, thing, and
Like
that maybe it's her
weirdos.
friend that runs it, and she's just a good example of how her friends.
And
are
I
able to-
also
or maybe she runs it. Maybe she's trying to.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
her
It's
scam.
commercial. Yeah,
It
it's her
feels like a scam to me too.
Yeah.
And the other
Scam.
thing
Yeah.
is like you draw people in, you get attention.
Yeah.
People sign up, and then they're like, "I keep hugging, I'm not coming though. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?" They're like, then you feel like you're not doing it right.
You got to pay up for
Maybe
another set, another
you gotta
conference.
pay for it,
Yeah.
or you start
It's
to
really
like
the perfect scam in a weird way.
Yeah.
and then
You start blaming
to
yourself.
pretend that you're coming.
Oh,
too,
then you're part of the
then
delusion.
You're part of the delusion. Yeah,
Ah.
you're like, I came real hard when I hugged you.
Three
It's-
times.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. I mean, look at this fucking coming. And look at his face.
She's cracking up.
And he's like really
Oh,
acting like he's
right.
jizzing, like he's just, his neck muscles contracted.
She's just laughing.
Yeah.
That's total bullshit.
It's
Total
bullshit.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah,
We can't. We
man.
cannot. Three of us cannot stand it if somebody else is happy. We can't stand it.
Yeah.
I will not hear that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like it either. It bothers me when people can get joyful about things like that.
I'd love to hear
Nonsense.
your thoughts on this one.
Okay, I can't wait.
Black guys who love to fuck and fuck good.
Uh-oh.
If you're a hot black guy and you want to fuck me at
Uh-oh.
$23.95, if you want to move in, you can move in, but you gotta fuck me. I need to be fucked a lot, man.
Yeah, we got
Get
it.
free food, free rent, and everything else, man. Here's the deal, man.
Oh boy.
Hold on.
Oh, hold
Men
on.
from jail, homeless, or you're a thug. You want to come move in? A friend can move with you too, man. Free rent, you get a lease and a key. Fuck me. Piss on me, beat me, I'm home man now. You see me, you want to come over today and try it out, man.
I just get sad when
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
I mean,
What's
do you think-
happening?
First of all,
What
look
do
how
you think
dark the circles are around his eyes.
What do you
I mean,
think
it's-
that
It does not look
means?
well. That just means drugs, man. He hadn't slept in a month. And then I just
Yeah.
smell meth. I can smell meth
Oh,
out
Really?
meth.
Yeah.
Meth.
Well, the first time we played, it was interesting. I said, the funny thing about this
You
is
play this over and over again?
oh, yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is a regular clip on this show.
so
Jesus
just
Christ.
that,
You're not worried about your souls now. Forget his.
oh, we're ruined.
I
We
know.
are
I see that.
completely ruined.
I'm going to bring in my questionnaire.
So we're ruined. But this, I was like, there's some part of every man's brain that has wanted to like
Be this
express
guy?
express these feelings. Like,
Yeah, but this
just
is-
fuck me. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
for someone to actually pull out a camera and go,
No,
like,
and to
I'm
be
a-
this disconnected and all of it.
Yeah.
This was somebody who was like severely beaten as a child.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's just all I see is just abuse.
Because he's looking
Probably
for the
sexual
abuse
abuse.
again.
Yeah, he's reenacting.
Oh, he's reenacting the
Yeah.
trauma to
Yeah,
try
yeah.
to solve it or whatever.
Or
his
whatever
motivation
whatever
is.
our brain does, it makes us do that.
That's interesting. So
what's
the dark.
what's with the bow on his head?
That's in just the BG there. That's just
see.
it's very dark. It's not well lit. He's
See,
shirtless.
His spot on analysis made this sad for me now. And
Yeah, it is
Well,
sad.
they're all sad.
That's why I could never go to strip clubs and things. 'Cause
No,
I'm
me
like, oh,
neither.
these women are these
well,
poor
yeah,
things.
yeah.
yeah, same here. No, it's empowering. Don't you know? It's supposed to be empowering.
Yeah,
for
that's what they say.
I know it's bullshit.
It is. You guys don't get it.
So he, yeah.
In my building, try it out. You want to fucking piss on me? Try it out. Seriously, applied only as fuck, man. I'm looking for hardcore guys that mean it, want to do it, and I want to deliver it. I'm a hot white trash.
Where did you
Let's
find
fuck.
this?
People just send this in to.
Oh,
Seriously.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm talking to your fans. This is very nice. As you guys break into diabolical laughter.
I'll tell you,
Okay,
this is
keep
just
going.
junior varsity.
Keep
This
going.
is,
Give
this
me
isn't even,
give me at least a varsity
this
level
isn't
challenge.
varsity squad.
This
You don't have to give me college or one. What do they call it?
101.
1D.
That-
What's
that
the
was.
what's the big level football? The
Division One.
Division One.
Yeah,
Don't give me Division One
Yeah,
varsity yet,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but just high school varsity. I'm ready for that. Let's see what you got.
There's so much to show you.
I'm so glad you're here because we get these clips and we laugh at them. I laugh at mental illness.
I'm glad
frankly.
you can laugh at it. I'm glad.
Oh,
But we
can't.
Yeah.
because you know what's happening, and that's the thing is we
I
don't
get
always
to see
know.
I get to see this, with the door shut.
yeah, it's
And
different.
it's deeply troubling.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what? It's funny. I told her this before. Every time I've I've met porn stars, immediately, like I don't see them as sexual beings.
Right.
Like because you make a
you
human
get what's
connection.
going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's a bummer.
So I go. I mean, I totally understand.
Did you see the sex rehab show we did?
No.
I saw a few of
We saw
those.
sex-
Yes.
So Jenny Ketchum, Penny Flame.
Penny Flame, I remember her.
Penny
yes.
Flame is
yes.
now just graduated from social work as an MSW at University of Washington.
Fantastic.
She may be getting a PhD. She's amazing.
Wow, good for
She's
her.
Getting married, pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, she is phenomenal.
Fantastic.
When I ask this,
Good for her.
I ask only if it's like a public thing. Obviously, I'm not trying to get
About the patients?
yeah, about her in this specific
Oh, Penny,
case.
yeah.
Like I'm saying, if it's
Penny.
not known or
Yeah.
public, then I'm not.
Yeah, I
asking,
can't tell you if it's not.
Right,
If
right.
it's not, so.
But like, so was she traumatized?
Oh yeah, well,
really?
yeah. We used to talk about. See, everyone's trauma came out on the show, but for some reason, people either didn't watch it or it didn't get amplified. They were specified enough. I mean, like Jeff Conway's trauma was so profound, so unbelievable and ritualistic, and people are like, "I wonder what was wrong with Jeff." It's like you didn't hear him talking about. He was dragged into a child porn ring, and he was beaten.
I don't remember them airing that
it's
bit.
Terrible.
Yeah, I feel like
Every one of them. I don't treat people. I always tell people if you have bad enough addictions, you need to see me as 100% probability of childhood trauma.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Now I'm not saying that all addiction has childhood trauma. I'm saying if it's bad enough that you need to come to somebody like me, there's childhood trauma and it's bad. Jenny had horrible stuff. Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's what I learned watching Celebrity Rehab. I think that's right when I started getting into therapy. Is there was that trend of?
Yeah.
I mean, we discussed this on your podcast. When the person would go in and Drew would be like, "How was your childhood?" It was fine. It was great.
Oh yeah.
Well, except for the part that my dad beat the shit out of me and my mom was
No,
an alcoholic
I'd have to go. I'd have to go. Well, do you have any physical abuse? Oh, no. I go. Did anybody ever discipline you? Well, like anybody, I got disciplined.
Oh, right.
And then I go, okay, you got disciplined. So they hit you. Yes. Oh, of course.
Well,
but I needed it.
everybody.
Everybody and like anybody, I needed it. I go, did anybody ever pick up an object and hit you? They belts and did they use the buckle end? Yeah, of course the buckle end. Oh yeah, there was one time it was a bat. Oh yeah, and the hatchet. Oh yeah, and the bow and arrow. And then it just starts. And they think of that as normative, and they needed it. That's how they get it and they internalize it. Like I was
so
deserving of that, which
wild.
is the child feels so powerless that they flip it into I'm causing this. I'm making this happen to me because I need it because I'm bad. So that's the
because
paradigm.
mom and daddy can't be bad
No.
because I need them to survive.
That's right.
And what happens is those unresolved feelings of trauma turn into, not like you just said, sometimes addiction. Sometimes they manifest later in life as something, but can be treated.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
That's the big highlight of this.
I thought you were going to tell us something specific.
No, I mean, I just want people to feel. I don't want people to feel hopeless listening. Like,
Oh, no,
shit,
no.
I was hit, and am I screwed? It's like, well, no, you just need to deal with the trauma.
Fundamentally, the way I think about it, the simplest way I look at it is that you need closeness of other humans to develop the mechanism for emotional regulation. That emotions, if you've been traumatized, are too prolonged, too intense, and too negative. And the way that is healed is in closeness with another human. Unfortunately, when you've been traumatized, you don't trust other humans anymore, and you exit the frame of closeness, and you never go back until somebody in therapy finds their way back in with you, and that person then holds that frame and just listens to you and reacts.
How hard is it? Because this is one of the things I think maybe, I don't know, that a lot of like the amateur audience watching a show like that would have difficulty processing is the level of distrust from some of the people that you're treating. In other
All
words,
of them.
I feel like though, like, isn't it hard to break down truth from this? How long
It turns me into a gigantic mind reader.
It does, right?
I got to the point, I'm a little out of practice with it right now, but where I could just trust whatever came out of my mouth without thinking about it.
You can trust whatever comes out.
I could when I was really skilled at this. I'm a little bit rusty right now, but I would do what's called, I would listen with my whole body. I would not listen to what they're saying because I know what they're saying is all bullshit. And I would just listen with my whole body. And if I felt something or heard something or smelled something, I would immediately go, hang on, I'm not sure. Does this have meaning to you? I'm smelling. They go, oh yeah, well my dad was always making bacon when he'd fucking throw grease on me and burn me. I was like, okay, well, I just happen to smell some bacon. I don't know.
Wow.
Meaning or not.
What is that?
Because people lie so much.
It's all compartmentalized, and I'm literally picking up on disavowed, disconnected parts of the self that are crying out for attention, but are disconnected from that human consciously, but is there all the time, creating all kinds of emotional turmoil in that person. And I pick it up.
Would it be like that Freud thing of your unconscious reading another person's unconscious?
Yes, that's what it is. But I think it's that's sort of that's not a evolved enough way of thinking about it. I really feel like that there's so much information going back and forth between two bodies in proximity. It's really not just the brain. It's our entire central nervous system, including our autonomic system, and we send stuff back and forth to people. And if you really listen, if you learn to really train yourself, and I also trained myself to be able to know when people were not telling me the truth, and I would just go, "That's very nice, but you're full of shit. Stop it, please." And I could just trust it when that would come out of my mouth. And most of the time, they would go, "How'd you know?"
Yeah.
And they'd go, "I don't even know when I'm bullshitting anymore, but I'm glad you help me. I need to know when I'm."
You must have worked with some master manipulators.
Oh
so,
my God!
I mean,
And I've been manipulated, and I've been had, and whatever.
Yeah.
But I can, if I do feel it, I can just go, you
know
want to
what?
work with me or not? Shut up.
it reminds me of, by the way, the skill set you're talking about is watching like detectives interrogate people. You know,
not a lot
crimes.
different.
And you see, like, we used to watch a lot of the first 48. And there is certain detectives that was the hook of like, that was you get excited about. You're like, she is amazing.
There's something
at
up,
breaking. She would there was this one Sergeant Mason, I think, in Tennessee. I still remember her name, and she would go in, and the guy would be like, I didn't do anything. I wasn't there. And she had this ability to connect. Yeah. And 5 minutes later, you would just see tears. And then they would confess. Yeah. It was amazing.
Did you see Mindhunter?
Yes, I watched the whole thing.
You got some of that stuff came out in that too.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Same idea. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Because remember, even when he met that first guy, he was like, they went, "Well, how'd you feel about it?" It didn't feel right. Well, there you go. Listen to that. We're perfect instruments. We really are. And if you've been injured, that perfection gets expressed in crazy ways. You like women that repeatedly go for abusive guys.
Yeah.
If you're attracted to the guy, definitely that's going to be an abusive guy. If you have that pattern. If you were abused as a child and you have that pattern as an adult, and you think that's a great guy, guaranteed that guy's going to be. I know he looks nothing like and acts nothing like the other ones. Yeah. Still, that's going to be abusive guy. Guaranteed.
Like I've been, we've all have interactions with like bad dudes. You feel it. You feel like predator dudes. You know what I mean? Guys, you're like, this doesn't feel right away. Yeah. I feel like sometimes you can, I don't know, it could be out in public. You could be introduced to someone and you'd be like, I don't want anything to do with this guy.
Man.
Yeah.
Good times, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go back to watching videos.
Oh, yeah. We got some.
He goes right to it.
So the women practice on the egg. What do the men do?
Okay, the men, the first thing, they have to practicing, that we call sharpening the knife.
Okay.
So the whole key is very simple. You get the oil, we call the
egg,
the baby oil.
Baby oil. Okay.
And you put it in, and now
in
you
your vagina?
put the penis, you warm it. In the cold winter, you warm them up. You get a hot towel.
Okay.
And you make it warm.
The what? The
And
hands?
you put
Your
it here.
hands and then
make sure all the blood flow.
Okay.
On your penis.
Okay.
Now you get the penis out.
Yeah.
You pull the skin. A lot of people, they never circumstances.
The foreskin.
Yeah.
So they have the skin.
They're never
So you put the skin and you get the oil in the hand and you rub. Hand go like this. You rub. Especially on the gland penis.
Okay.
Rub them.
Okay.
50 times, rest.
Okay.
Because you make them strong and not sensitive. 50 times one right side, 50 times left side, 50 times front, 50 times back, 50 times down.
That's a lot.
350.
Okay.
I believe.
How often am I doing this?
You have to do every day until you can control.
Every day.
Time consuming.
Extremely.
Just had the
I'm sharpening the knife. That's what you call
Sharpening
it.
the knife.
Okay. All right.
If you don't sharpen the knife, that's the number one. Number two, you have to learn how to contracting the prostate gland. When men ejaculation, the pressure of the ejaculation is from the prostate gland contracting.
Okay. So I'm
that's not
exercising that.
You
muscle.
exercise it.
Okay.
And for people who have prostate gland swollen up or problem, this one will solve the problem. And now you do it until you feel orgasm.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
We call orgasm without ejaculation.
Right.
Yeah. So you feel. So you see, when you do when you get it, it's very quick. 2-3 times you get it. When you squeeze, it's the orgasm coming up.
Oh, dude.
So
What's
what do you
happening
think's
here?
going on with him? He's a teacher.
He's a tantric guy.
He teaches a lot of things, actually.
What else?
Well, he also teaches women, to rub their nipples and I think puts an egg.
Well,
the
he
egg-
says if your vagina muscles are loose, then
the
Put an egg in there.
your door is open
Your
and
door-
all the
your
energy
energy
leaks out of your vagina. So you
He
need,
reminds. Is he a yoga guy? A tantric guy?
I don't
He's been around
know.
for a minute. Like this was the first thing we were exposed to about him, and then we found.
What's his ethnicity? I can't figure out what he
I
is.
think he's Thai.
Thai. Yeah, that sounds right.
And then he did like a female one in the same interview, and then somebody found like a 25, 35-year-old clip of him.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a
like
minute.
this is like your kidneys are connected to your testicles. You got to rub your back like this.
Oh my God.
So wait, you said that's not right when you said the orgasm is in the
No,
prostate.
your prostate doesn't move. The pelvic floor musculature contracts, but that's not to do with your prostate. And the seminal vesicles are what are holding the semen. The prostate is just a gland that's sort of slowly producing fluid and storing it in the seminal vesicles. It doesn't have really any other activity.
And what about sharpening the knife? Is that an effective
Hey, well, how
method?
do you feel
50
about that?
times, rub.
So I think the whole point of this was about control. Right?
Yes.
And
That's
then-
why it sounds sort of tantric-like.
Yeah, but then he said like 300 strokes a day.
All I kept thinking was 300 times. It's like 2 seconds of stroke. That's about 600 seconds or so. Who the fuck has time to do this every day? And I'm worried about that person's soul again. I'm worried about the souls of all these people that you're showing me because their priorities don't seem right. If that's what they're preoccupied with doing every day, there's better mindfulness than sharpening the knife. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So it's not a priority.
I've seen better mindful practices.
Yes.
Let's put it that
There's
way.
a possibility that this guy is a bit delusional, though.
No, I don't think this guy's mentally ill. I don't think he
You don't
is.
think he is? Okay.
No, I just think he's a weirdo. He's a straight up
He's
weirdo.
just, that's the
There is
diagnosis.
such a thing. There's such a thing as evil, bad weirdo. That they exist.
I'll
Yeah.
raise you one.
Oh Jesus!
And
Oh, my
back
God.
to varsity.
Oh no!
Hey, Hiller.
Uh-oh.
It's me, Danny.
Uh-oh.
I just want to let you know there are at least 2 of my Daniacs, or at least a few of my Daniacs that are on the shrimp scampi boat, and like they are like getting turned into lasagna. So I need your help getting a rescue boat over there, and they really need your help getting rescued. So could you at least please send
What
me
is she saying?
She's talking to Hitler.
Talking to
so
Hitler.
that way they could be
She's
safe.
vlogging to Hitler.
She's asking for
the fear.
she's asking him for a rescue boat for
To-
her friends.
Who are being turned into scampi?
They're
Shrimp
on a shrimp
scampi.
scampi boat. They're turning into lasagna.
Okay, so
But Hitler is the guy she's talking to.
She sings happy birthday to him.
again, I
The
always
leader of the Third Reich.
I always like to look at the environment. I
Yeah.
mean, look at all that
Chaos.
stuff, those
Chaos.
pictures.
Well,
and-
she's a really big fan of that
One Direction.
yeah, it reminds me of people that set up, sort of shrines and things
Yes.
to people that go
Yes.
try to murder them. It looks like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you close your eyes and don't look at her video and listen to her voice, she sounds like she's about 6 years old.
She sounds
Oh.
very
Which is an interesting thing that happens in severe trauma survivors is their voice
Yes,
stops.
he talked about
maturing.
this on
Loveline,
sex
what?
and the sex stuff. Sex
thinking
addiction
maybe we
rehab.
should have a new title for our
And-
podcast. Used to be called Severe Trauma.
and if no laughing matter now. If she's not just sort of being bullshitting, she's severely psychotic. I mean, that's psychosis.
Yeah.
Full on,
Psychosis, yeah.
full
Will you
on.
close your eyes 1 second? Close your eyes.
Mhm. And now what?
Hey, Hiller.
Just wanted you to hear "Hey Hitler" and not.
So I thought she said,
interrupt
"Hey, healer."
it. No.
Oh no,
Hey, Hitler.
no, it's
So severely psychotic
Yeah.
because of the eyes and the.
No, I don't see anything in her face. It's just what she's talking about. I mean,
Oh.
it's so disorganized. And
Oh.
it almost sounds, delirious. Like she's like,
Well, why don't we lighten things up a little bit?
oh, good.
Yeah.
Varsity level or
Just want to
Oh my
see
life.
your thoughts on this. Not somebody talking, but just to see like what you find funny, what you don't find funny, just your reaction, and then maybe you can.
he's gonna zoom right through there.
No, he's just setting the car up.
Oh no. It's funny, except I know what that injury is. That's bad.
Yeah.
That kind of a crush injury is really bad. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. That could be dead within a few minutes.
Thank you. Okay, so clue you in on what the debate is.
I mean, crush injuries like that, those are common, and they unglove it's just the worst.
So
it's
what
the
happens?
Worst. Often the leg will just split open and unglove entirely. The skin comes off entirely, and then depending on how bad the crush is, whether or not their kidneys fail because their muscles crushed and going into their blood system, and how bad the blood supply is cut off, and how much orthopedic injury there is there.
Yeah.
It's just those are catastrophes.
I have
people often get amputated.
Right, and that's really funny, right, Tom?
No, but let me be.
Is
let's
that
be
part
fair.
funny?
Let's be fair about something. So I've always had, and I've admitted to it. I think the way I deal with physical injuries to people
is you laugh.
I laugh.
Yeah,
and I've
Some
done
people do
it
that.
for 30 plus
Yeah,
years.
Some sick people do that, right?
I had a nurse.
Well, she thinks I'm psychotic.
I think it's a red flag, Drew.
No, I had a nurse. Remember Sasha in the celebrity rehab?
Yes,
Sasha
yes.
would laugh in the most horrible situations. She would all of a sudden start giggling.
Yeah.
And there's nothing she could do about it. And she's a great nurse and really compassionate.
Yes.
But she had this weird, nervous thing when things got really rough and said, terrible things started happening. She'd break out like full laughter. And I was like, Sasha, leave.
But why does my husband find that clip so funny when people
he's a psychopath. I was going to tell you later. I was going to tell you. Don't let me say it in front of him.
Thank you, because I've watched the clip several times, and we've had other guests on, and I can't laugh because
Some people have said how funny it is.
I have what's called empathy,
No,
and I
it's
believe
funny if it were the Three Stooges.
Right. You know what I mean? Contextual.
See, the whole problem is, it's one thing that bothers me about physical slapstick humor is that you believe that that's just funny, or if somebody gets hit in the head, it's just funny. Mild head injuries fuck people up for 6 months. One of Mo's, or just the fingers in the eyes.
Yeah, of course.
One of Mo's bonks on the head would be 6 months of trouble.
Yeah.
And it is funny when it's the Three Stooges or Laurel and Hardy.
When it's fake, when you know it's fake.
In this case, what's funny also is that his reaction, I think also because it's foreign, like that you don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, you can be, there's some distance you can get from it.
You get distance from it. It's an almost comical reaction.
Yes,
So
there was a quality to the reaction that was like, oh my God, that's funny. And then it's like, oh my God, that's really a pin in a pinning. It's a pinning against the wall.
I remember when I worked construction one summer in high school, and this guy had a sewn in like morphine drip pack for his neck.
That's bullshit.
And I was like,
that's the worst.
I go like, why do you have that? And he started telling me like very seriously, he was on this site, and they were removing a bathtub from the 3rd floor, and it fell out from the lift, and it crushed his neck. And I laughed so hard.
He must have loved that.
Well, he was just looking at me, and then he realized that he started telling me all these other injury stories, and then he got to the point where he'd be like, just remember, you're going to love this one. So he would do it to entertain me. He'd be like, one time I was on the site, and I broke my arm doing this, and I've always found it's how I process.
How come you don't bring the guy around with you all the time to keep the levity going?
I mean, it just I don't know why.
Keep the good times rolling, Tom.
You should become an orthopedist. You would never stop laughing.
I would laugh all the time.
Wait, so why do we do that? Because I laugh at things that are inappropriate as well. Is it?
Well, now you're asking me what's the nature of humor and laughter, which is a really complicated question.
But his reaction to that man being harmed and possibly dying is laughter. And that is.
Remember I said evil exists?
On the spectrum of evil.
Should I be on Mindhunter? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure it's that kind of problem, but.
And what about this, Drew?
Come on, something's really wrong with me?
No.
Yes, he's dark.
No.
Dark-sided.
No, I'm
what
not.
about the fact that my husband,
I'm
falling.
incredibly compassionate.
Okay, when I'm falling asleep at night, he'll watch TV and he'll watch. If you look at his Netflix queue, it's murder, psychopath, porn. Serial killer.
Guess what, Drew? They make all those shows just for me.
Yeah.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
They go like really deep into production for me.
We'll talk later.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
Awesome, just for you.
It's just me, man.
I've talked to them. They've said it was just for you.
Law and Order's just for me.
All that stuff.
First 48. It's just all me.
He
man.
likes that. Should I be concerned?
I think I got to go now.
Please.
Shit.
She's
But he's such a gentle
soul.
Yeah, the thing is, he would never hurt a fly.
As far as you know.
So yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. What'd you do as a kid? Were you twisting rabbits' necks and?
I like to follow people home. I do it now. See if I can really stalk.
Oh God.
Pick someone and I go, I'm following you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, get to know their habits when they go to work.
Okay. Anyways,
yeah.
terrified.
So,
Terrified.
Here's another one that's not like those other ones, I swear. But I really want your opinion on this. And then
You didn't want my opinion on all the other ones?
No, I did. But I'm saying like this is an interesting one. I think seriously.
Sweden is the most forward-thinking country in the world when it comes to questioning gender. The gender-neutral pronoun hen is now commonly used by most Swedes.
So that's just a little intel.
Beginning.
Okay.
This is Nico's room.
And how old is Nico?
Nico's 2.5.
And Mika is...
almost 5.5.
Mika and Nico were both assigned male at birth, but in this family, the sex you were born with does not dictate your gender identity.
So we're giving you just a little context for this.
We use he for them. Sometimes it's mixed, and it depends, because in Sweden we have hen, the gender-neutral pronoun in Swedish. I think Mika has always said when I've asked, it's been she or hen. Changing pronouns in books. Instead of it always being mama, we say mama and mapa. What's the matter, sweetie? Ask mapa. It's so dark.
So just to give you the full thing, the next clip is also what I want you to weigh in on. There's this family, they're in Sweden. You understand that they were talking about the pronouns here, and then these very young kids are being having
treated.
They're getting different
hormones.
No, they're just daily being given the option to choose pronouns, and it switches.
2.5 and 5-year-olds, or they're being asked, "Hey, what would you like me to call you today?"
Okay. Today, I do hon, han, eller hen idag. That's not something I always have to say, but it would be good to know today for the film. Ska jag säga hon eller hen? Just Mika, okay.
So the kid answered just my name.
Yes.
In other words, do you think that there's anything odd to asking very small children their gender pronouns?
I don't know, because it's unusual. We're not used to that, but it would have to be really studied. We have to see what the outcomes are. I'm a little concerned with the biological reassignments.
At a young age.
The President of the American Academy of Pediatrics just came out strongly against it.
Is that being done?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean reassignments? They're born
like they're being, if they say I feel like a girl today,
correct,
and even though I'm a boy, you better get on those hormones right away. The 3-year-old, and it's concerning, and we don't even know the full medical consequence of that either yet. So
people are doing that.
Oh yeah, like crazy. But this part I'm sort of agnostic about.
Yeah,
it's like maybe it'll be, I don't know, maybe it'll be good.
Okay,
I'm more worried with the way this guy's treating his children. It does not feel very connected or empathic.
Yeah,
this feels very tutorial. Everything's very like weird and formal. Maybe it's just because the camera's there. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah, but it would not feel comfortable being his. Was he dad or mom? What does he call himself?
Well, he's Mapa.
Mapa. He would not feel comfortable having him as Mapa, right? I mean, you feel weird if you're that kid. That's why she's like, "Hey, shut up, call me Micah."
Yeah, stop asking me stuff.
Yeah,
I
stop
don't
making
know
me
the
uncomfortable.
answer
Yeah.
to.
Do you think something mental's going on with this type?
I don't understand like why you bitches and people is mad just because I sound black and Ancestry.com say I'm black. Like, at the end of the day, what is a race anyways? You feel me? Because, like, we all one. We all here in this world supposed to be equal. It's just in the past, people was messed up and stuff.
Oh, honey.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I feel so angry at our educational system sometimes.
Yeah.
I really get angry.
Something's
I don't see anything mental,
yeah.
Nothing mental health wise other than a little angry, but just like, come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's go back to school. Let's be able to function in society.
Yeah.
Oh.
Chantel, you and your daughter sad as fuck, bitch. Why would you wish death on somebody you don't know? That's real sad. And obviously you can see I'm not ugly, bitch. And my hair go down. Might be a little fat. Never claimed to be skinny.
These are, for people just listening, these are two back-to-back white girls.
I love these two girls.
Yeah, they're pretty entertaining.
Why don't you start talking like that?
I'm trying. I can't do the accent that well. Okay, I'm trying.
She's still going.
And I don't see Nancy, bitch ass.
There you good.
Okay. You were irrelevant anyway, but
this is a good one for you.
I'm a little fat, but I still got some ass and thighs now.
I'm a little
I never
fat.
said I was skinny, but I bet I can ride dick better than any of these bitches in this group, though.
Do you guys know Theo Vaughn?
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, Theo was, he'll talk about being raised around that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Where, like in Louisiana?
Yeah. He does not have good feelings about what was going on there.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right.
That's pretty good stuff.
What else is going to get me in trouble with?
What about
Oh my God.
What's the racial stuff, Tommy? What's that word that you taught me where you choose your race?
Ooh, transracial.
Transracial.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's people are like saying like it'd be like me saying, the
Yeah.
thing is I was born, I know what you see, but I'm actually Filipino.
Yeah, identify with as
Yeah.
Filipino.
Yeah.
So what's
I like
going on
that.
there? Is that mental illness or is that what's going on there?
Are you trying to get me in? How much trouble are you trying to get me into one podcast?
Genuinely curious about these people. What's happening? Is this a societal thing?
Yes.
Jail, homeless, or you're a thug.
This is a social phenomenon. This is not.
This is-
It is not a mental health issue.
Okay, got you. So this
Yeah.
is just the times. This is
Yeah.
this is what's in the ethers, and
Yeah.
people are like, I'm doing that
Yes.
thing too.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Because yeah.
If you want to move in,
Jesus
you can move in, but you gotta fuck me.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's one last guy. This guy's been like a big deal.
Look
on
how
the
exhausted
show.
he is.
I know,
Look at
I
him.
know.
This poor man.
Trying.
But there's just one guy we want you to
All right.
to
one
just
guy.
weigh in on.
All right. Just okay.
He's just
He's got a dinner waiting for him at
he's
home.
walking down
Come
the
on.
street, just working on a song. Okay.
Machines were thin, machines were thin. I got a gun, yeah, I got a gun, Terminator gun. Yeah, machines were thin, T-16.
Sorry. Do you notice anything there? Does everything seem normal or no?
Well,
Trying to make my rap, trying to make my rap, trying to practice on my flow, Machines were thin, machines were thin.
I can't picture Drew listening to this shit.
That's pretty
I feel sad. It makes me sad. It makes me sad.
What?
What part of it?
Just that we're failing people so miserably. And it's not mental health.
He made a new.
Wait a minute.
My introduction, my song
Is
I
this
just
him,
made on
seriously?
Facebook, it's called Crazy, Isn't It? Well, here I go. I'll drop that verse for you. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy, isn't it? Drop that verse. Drop that verse. Got the knife. Crazy, isn't it? Got that knife. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy, isn't it? Drop that verse. How crazy, isn't it? Innocent.
This guy
Crazy, innocent.
will be a
isn't it?
great juggalo.
He is.
Okay, he'll be fine there. He'll be fine amongst his peers.
Wow.
There it is, somewhat normative behavior he's engaged in. Even the juggalos will find a problem with this, but he will make a good juggalo.
Look at you.
So
Yeah.
that was that was amazing. You got your spidey senses back.
Yeah.
So now, would you say this is mental illness or an
No.
educational failure?
This juggalosis.
Juggalitis.
Holy shit. man.
Juggalos.
I almost went to the juggalo convention. What do they call it? The gathering?
Yeah.
I want to go to the gathering.
Just to see what's going on there.
Yeah, I got to show you.
So many people.
That's so interesting.
Want you to treat them.
My very favorite picture.
Can you treat them en masse? Can you open up a booth at the Juggalo convention?
Well, people warned me off going because they said it'd be too scary that I would get hurt.
I think that's a good. That's a good.
I really wanted to go though. I really did.
So, but this gentleman is just.
He's a juggalo. What are you
He's a
gonna do?
juggalo. It's a cultural.
Yeah, it's just an
thing.
expression.
No
It's an
problems.
expression, no
Yeah.
problems. Okay. He's not angry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and he's
angry.
socially, like I said, I got sad, but to know there's a place, a home, even for him, amongst the juggalos, I mean, that felt pretty good.
How about this?
Let's hope for that
Is this
guy.
different?
I think we're traumatizing Dr. Drew.
Another one I'm in love with. This is just good comedy, man.
Well, I'm saying, like, do you
Come
think
on.
is there anything to doing that?
Is there should I be concerned about her?
Well,
Yeah, that's trauma, right? If
No.
you're making fart videos
No,
for money, come on.
For money, she gets paid for that.
Of course,
Yeah.
$50 a fart.
God is great.
I mean, seriously, like,
Seriously, what?
This is
Is this
trauma.
okay?
I mean,
She can do this too.
There's a reason.
I mean, there's people that do this. Is there something that
And there are people that then play it over and over again to other guests on podcasts.
Well, I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You'll see there's
Suddenly all kinds of pictures of...
She's been abused, right?
Yeah.
Her stepdad.
I'm in love with her too.
She's a very sweet girl.
This is the best thing ever. Now that's just funny. Right?
Okay, so you just enjoy that.
I just enjoy that. Thank you.
What about? I mean,
women farting. Why is that funny?
Oh, because it's right.
Does this type of because you have there's so many tells that you're keyed in on.
Yeah.
I feel like because you're like you look at the eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that this
The
voice
physical properties.
Yeah, like does
She made me do copious amounts of cocaine with her, to the point. And when I thought my heart was going to stop.
Yeah. That's it?
She made me do copious amounts of cocaine with her, to the point I thought my heart was going to stop.
That's it?
She told me to calm down.
Oh.
Gave me a drink. And I don't know what was in the drink, but I blacked out. Woke up. She had both my legs over her shoulders, and she was numb sucking my asshole like there was no tomorrow.
Numb sucking? What is numb sucking?
I tried to fight it. I tried to get away, but I was restrained. She told me that I liked it.
You probably
She
did.
told me not to worry because she used the good jelly. The schmuckas.
I mean, is this something?
Well, you don't know who this.
Well, nobody's paid me to confess this now. And I've kept it under wraps for all these years because I knew that no one would believe me. No one would believe that Hillary Clinton ate my asshole.
Oh my God!
But doesn't his eyes?
So
I
what-
feel like there's
is-
something going on.
Is he telling the truth?
I can't tell. Well, he's not telling the truth. I don't know what's up with him, but he's not telling the truth.
That's Ryan Sickler. He's a very funny comedian.
Oh, is it?
No, it's
No,
not.
no. It's just
But
another.
I thought it was him.
Another
I'm looking for
weird
my
beer.
favorite picture here for you guys. And
Juggalos?
yes, my Juggalo picture. I'm gonna find it.
They could really use you in that community.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I just don't want them to kill me if I show up.
No.
You think
They're
this
peace and love, dude.
has
They're-
drugs? Or
Okay,
no?
pups, we've had a bit of a rest. Time now for some
I think
training.
we're assaulting.
What's
Doug.
involved in human pup play? At
Uh-oh.
first seems really simple because, most people
Yeah, what's
think you just
happening?
get
Pup
on all
play?
fours,
Pup play.
waddling around
Yeah.
and going woof woof and bark bark. But it's really so much more complicated.
So that guy started this pup play training in New Zealand. Training. And he's got all these guys into it there. And he was basically like, oh, it's a fun get-together. Like
Well, at first he was like, just a bunch of guys
Yeah.
enjoying each other's company. And then later it's like, we also ejaculate in each other's faces.
Yeah.
And that was a big secret,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
after we have so that's sort of like the furries.
Yeah.
Yes,
Looks like
roll-
in the
roll.
furry camp.
On that video there, it's all like, on the up. Like, it's like we just hang out and I treat them like dogs. And then we found videos of him online in a different light where he was basically like...
Run your finger along your crack of your ass. You don't need to finger your hole. You don't want to come back with shit on your finger.
No, you don't want that.
Yeah,
No.
but he was instructing people in a much more graphic way when it wasn't for a news piece.
Well, of course. He didn't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
What's that?
There we go.
Oh, my gosh.
Me and Violent J and
Oh,
Shaggy.
yeah?
So Drew showed me a picture tonight on Loveline. You had these two guys on Loveline.
repeatedly.
The Insane Clown
see.
Posse.
You've had these guys
so
on?
funny.
Many times. ICP, they're my buddies.
I've heard them on Stern before. They,
Yes.
They seem fun. They're like
They are something
They're
else.
funny.
These guys like come to studio like this?
They never are seen anywhere without either a Mexican wrestling mask or that clown makeup on. Ever. They've never
Really?
been seen.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
That does seem like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Do they do it themselves?
Now imagine the guy with the hockey mask wearing that makeup. That
Oh.
then it starts to make sense, doesn't it?
Right.
That's what he
That's
would look like. He would
terrifying.
What's
look-
your take on?
He would look like Shaggy.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
People make fun of Juggalos a lot and like ICP and all this stuff, but then
I
they
love them.
also bring about how business savvy these guys are with this.
They're brilliant, and there's a whole philosophy and stuff, and it's hard to argue with them. I mean, they really are kind of interesting guys.
Yeah. And it is positive, right? They're all about.
There's a little bit too much aggression and violence
Oh, that too.
when they gather, but other than that, I have no quarrels.
All right. Well, look, we want you to go home and have salmon. And
I want to see some more fart videos. I mean,
You
come
do?
on.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
So I
Well,
was like, really? Oh my god!
came to your mom's house. This is perfect. We got him. You asked for it.
Yeah.
Oh, same girl.
belly's all
Now,
swollen.
do you think she really does this, or someone's playing like a video, a
No, I
sound,
think so.
sound
There's
effects
a
over?
there's
it?
a rooster in the background.
You know who you?
I'm not sure that was the best idea.
Do you think do people pay for this?
Yeah, that's the thing that we're trying to figure
Yes,
out. The
yes.
Is it
the-
sexual?
Yes.
Yes.
It's so people get off on this. It's not just
when
comedy.
we first brought it up a while ago, a guy wrote in and he was like, well, the whole thing is seeing a pretty girl do the dirty thing. That's what he gets off on.
A dirty thing.
Well, you know,
farting.
So why the rest of us just laugh?
I don't know.
Have you seen cake farts?
Yes, come
who
on.
hasn't?
That's like first grade. Come on.
Yeah, well, that was an exercise in futility.
Let me see if I can.
But like this girl definitely had a bad childhood, right? I mean, you don't fart on the internet because things were good in your childhood.
There's a high degree of secondary reinforcement.
What's that mean?
She gets paid a lot probably to do this.
Oh, yeah.
So it may just be one of those things.
It's like $100. Do you want $100?
I think
Susan says she's tired and she made a crappy dinner.
Oh, they'd be like, I'm glad I'm not there.
Should I should I get her on the phone?
Yeah.
Tell her we're watching fart videos.
Do you think something's going on? We're going to show you the king real quick. Sorry.
Sorry. Please analyze this guy. We're really curious about him.
Oh, we're not going to get her. She just texted me. Why don't she answer her phone? It drives me crazy.
It drives me crazy too. Don't you want to murder your spouse sometimes?
No, I want to kill you when you don't answer, and I want to talk to you.
But he didn't just complete a text to you and then not answer. Oh, my God. Please, come on.
Come on, Susan.
Come on. She's missing such good material.
Talk about...
She loves fart humor.
Really?
Oh, really?
No. She does not get it at all.
Do you fart in front of each other?
Sure, a little bit, but she is not...
This guy is a legend.
He's called King Ass Ripper.
How about that guy in Stern that does Joe the Farter or whatever?
Yes,
What's
yes.
Joe
The king here?
This guy blows that guy away, dude.
Yeah, it's really
This guy's the real deal. We've tried contacting him.
A lot.
Oh, my God.
He won't come on our show.
Why not? I guess his identity is a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
but
no,
he shows his face.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, in this video, not
Does
so
he
much.
respond to your emails?
No.
I mean, look.
We've offered him money.
Look,
King
it's
Ass
all
Ripper.
about.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You guys live in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Susan. You're on the podcast. You didn't tell me that. Hey, you didn't tell me that your mom's house is just these two sitting around watching.
Look, babe.
Okay, hold
Look
on.
at the King Ass Ripper.
On The Voice. Oh, she's watching The Voice.
Oh.
Wait, you didn't tell me that your mom's. Hang on. You didn't tell me your mom's house is just these two sitting around watching fart videos, which.
You're watching fart videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Yes. On Instagram?
No. We have files saved. We.
Girls that fart?
Yes.
You know
How did you know about that?
We watched it together, honey.
Well, these two have made an art form of that. They apparently study it like the Zapruder tapes.
Yep.
Do you remember we watched it
Yes,
together?
my first exposure was recently. Yes, we were both like in disbelief. So
Of cake farts?
No, this was just watching women fart online, and we were like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah, it's a special lane.
And thankfully, I'd been my hymen had been ruptured prior to getting here. I might have been shot. So
Your aversion to fart videos, huh?
So
There's so many.
But I just want to tell you, I'll hear that, but she can't hear it, right?
Oh, she can't.
Hold on,
no.
she can't put speaker.
That's the guy, though.
That's King Ass Ripper.
That's King Ass Ripper. He's just farting on his dog. Yeah.
Poor dog. Susan.
Sniff that one.
Yeah.
This is the guy who farts on his dogs.
That's animal abuse, right?
In our world, our dogs abuse us.
Of course. But if the dog enjoys it, is it really considered animal abuse? You
Well,
know?
Susan, I called you to tell you what I'm still doing, so I'll get home as soon as I can to eat your crappy dinner, as you said.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. I'm sure it's
We miss you, Susan. We wish you could be here.
This time it was terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aw.
But listen, they miss you.
We missed you. I'm sad you didn't come.
Oh, I know. Thank you for saying that. I wish I could have been there.
Do all the plugs. Do all the plugs in case I forget.
Susan.
Wait, Tom's talking to you.
Susan, how great is Drew's body?
Amazing.
Yeah. That's what we were talking
Amazing.
about it.
And you know what's really cool?
What?
Okay, this just in case your kids are listening.
No.
After you have your prostate removed, there's no semen.
Right.
Oh.
Ghost
So it's
legs.
awesome.
Yeah. Very
Go
clean.
slow.
Oh.
Very clean.
And that must be nice.
The only thing that changes, no muss, no fuss.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh no, is that not PC for your show? I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
for this show? For this show? Are you fucking kidding me? It started very nice, but it goes down a rabbit hole you would not believe. So
that's so fun. That's the best line of the night.
So give all the plugs. I'll never forget. I'll remember to do it. Go ahead.
So before or after I bleach my butthole. Okay, so make sure you listen to this live podcast with Dr. Drew and Bob Forrest or Mike Catherwood, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. The Dr. Drew podcast, Adam and Drew podcast,
Jesus, man.
and Weekly Infusion. Oh, and of course, Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, which I'm resurrecting this week.
I'm not sure you want this crowd over there, but okay. Just saying.
They've already been on the show, honey.
No, not these two. I mean the people that find them amusing in their current mom's house.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be home and soon enough.
I love you.
All right. Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
And I just did.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Your show. What's it called? Sorry, I forgot.
You did the You Live.
Yo, how do you have time to do all this shit?
What the hell,
fuck, man?
Just do them. Just crank them out.
So you're like a pro podcaster. I mean,
I'm like it was a serious workaholic though, so everything seems easy to me since those
Really?
days. Yeah.
This
here
is
we go.
this is the farter.
Those motherfuckers.
He also
This
does
is-
gluttony videos.
3 fucking beef and cheddar sandwiches slopped with fucking mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Brooklyn too.
Yep.
Evidently.
Fucking leak this and fucking.
I don't like the eating one.
spicy fucking mayonnaise.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah,
but he
But
does.
I love how fucked up people are that they.
God damn.
It's
weird, right?
Gross.
There's also videos where he gets out a bunch of this food and he farts on it and then eats it.
I'm not interested in him. I'm interested in who's watching him.
Yeah. Like,
Well, us.
we've brought him to a lot of people. I mean, a lot.
And ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it makes me want to throw up.
Do you think this is like a fetish thing?
Yes, this is all fetish stuff.
Why would somebody want
Anything that's sexual that shouldn't be sexual, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
why
fetish.
do you think gluttony? How
Yeah,
does that
what's
turn
that?
someone on?
I'm not an expert in this area, but I've always had the sense that it was something to do with being force-fed as a child or something, that it was too gratifying, or maybe the breastfeeding was done in an aggressive a way or something, so they always feel like they're overwhelmed by it.
Yeah,
and so that feels sexual.
He used to just
arousing.
do fart videos, and then he started doing the gluttony.
He evolved as an artist.
Yeah, he really did evolve.
But he's getting
Started
paid for these things, right?
I think so, but we've never really found his pay
Back
stuff.
for more fucking gluttony. You already know. Oh.
Yeah.
What's up, gaining community?
Gaining community.
What up,
Feeding
gaining
community.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if
You need
it's.
to go to my channel, Gluttonous Slob, and go to the pig out checkout button.
I'm wondering if it's
donate some
gay
money
or
to me.
straight. Do we know?
There you go. He's asking for
any
cash. in
requests
there.
and challenges you may have.
Gay or
Just
straight?
donate
Gay.
money.
It's a gay thing?
There's no women that are interested.
No, I'm other heterosexual men. It's all everything weird is man. Let's face it.
Yeah,
but is
there's
it
no
heterosexual
women.
men or straight? Or
No,
gay
it's gay men.
Gay men.
Maybe that's why he won't answer us, Jeans. I think because we've reached out to him so many times, and I think he needs to keep his business intact. I think it's gay guys that are into this.
He goes also by I fart in your face. That's but we really this is him here. This is like him and his
Hard dresser to fart on.
a hard dresser to fart on, and he would just post these videos.
Let's give a nice sort of jackhammer quality.
Oh my God!
So
everyone has their own talent.
Yeah.
Some people are genius, something or another.
There's a big scandal about those fart videos with him. Was that people didn't believe they were genuine? That he was shooting air into himself.
Okay, well, that would still be genuine in a weird way.
Well, yeah.
Well, let me ask Drew this. Medically speaking, I mean, is that really possible what that guy's doing, or is that fake?
It's possible. So the bacteria can produce a lot of gas, right? They split the nitrogen waste in there. Are you writing this down? And so the methane that's produced by the bacteria can be high volume, and if he holds it in for periods of time and then films it when it's time to go, I can see.
So
Right?
it is
He
possible.
probably knows what to feed himself to get the optimal production. And sometimes swallowing air. Sometimes people swallow a lot of air, and some guys can suck in air.
Yeah.
They can actually suck it like Will the
in their
Farter.
rectum. Yes,
Will the
that's
Farter
what he's
sucks-
doing.
He's sucking
Which I
stuff in.
feel is kind of a trick, a parlor trick,
Yes,
and not
I
a
agree.
real thing.
I
This
agree.
guy's
But
the
so
real
is
deal.
like inserting air. You know what I
Well,
mean?
let's
Like-
be fair. What is it you actually want from this guy? I mean, does it
I
really
want to
matter how
know-
it got to that point? Does that violate your sensibilities, your delicate sensibilities? The Geneva Convention on fart production has to be pure bacterial methane production. We'll have no air from above or air from below. The judges will rule.
For me, yes.
course, yes,
I
me
definitely
too.
want them to
I'm a
be
purist.
genuine farts. I want them to eat that Arby's and
Yes,
McDonald's.
I'm saying
Yeah, but
and
if
then-
it's swallowing air as part of his gas production, some people the air goes through.
Yeah.
Why not give them that if he has that talent?
I mean, I understand. Like, I'm just saying.
What do the
judges?
judges say?
I feel like the committee.
Talk to the judges.
I feel like the committee would want to review this.
Will the
I
Far-
feel
yeah,
it's
I don't-
worthy of
Yep.
I'm throwing the flag. I
True.
want an official review.
I have another very scientific question.
Oh my
for you.
God!
My
I don't know
mother,
if I can take anymore.
Sorry, this will be the last one. My mother used to tell me I used to fart a lot, and when sometimes I'd complain about the farts, she would say that you should be grateful for the farts because farts push the shit out. Now, is that true that
No.
farts push the shit out?
It's not true.
Shits push the farts out.
Farts and shit are sort of disconnected phenomena.
What?
Yeah, they're sort of.
You're blowing my mind. My whole life I'm raised to
They can be a
believe.
little connected, but obviously there's some connection there. But they're independent. They're not. Like,
Shits don't push the farts out.
a fart will come out with the shit, but the shits don't. Yeah, but she said the farts push the,
The
shit
farts-
out.
Right.
And it's
Right.
a little different.
Yeah.
And the farts just come out. They're just
So
gaseous.
wait, you're saying they're not? There's no causal relationship.
Not really. I mean, it may give you more of a
Did
sense
you
of a
ever
desire to
think
fart. But
studying and being on?
did I
television
ever think
that
I'd be
you'd
on this show, any show, talking about this? Never in a
farts
million.
push the shits out?
No, never. I would not, that's not something I expected to be talking about. I thought your wife was really smart. I thought we talk about
Kierkegaard.
Kierkegaard, Thomas Aquinas.
That's the other show.
Kierkegaard on top of it. I didn't know.
That's
Well,
deep, bro.
I took a leap of faith by coming on this show, and I'm here
How'd
to
it work
tell you.
out?
Kierkegaard was wrong. It doesn't so much work out. It doesn't. It's required to get here, but I think Heidegger was a little close to the proper analysis of the existential phenomenology of reality.
This is hilarious.
Right?
You're the best, man.
It's the other
Thanks
part.
for coming
thank
on.
you so much. Thank you for letting us torture you with these clips.
This is. Are we really done? I have a weird sort of like desire to continue.
Oh, I'll continue.
What?
I thought
It's
that
weird. Like I feel attached to all this. I'm traumatized. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm having traumatic attachment.
I love it.
Trauma bonding.
you're going to
This is it.
associate beards with this for a long time.
And it's stalking behaviors,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to know when to leave or go. Give me one more.
Give you one more. Okay.
Give me a high grade. No violent
see.
medical injury stuff that I'm going to be thinking about.
Okay.
The surgical suites.
Oh, I don't know.
What?
What about the dad excitement? The Trans Canada Highway.
What have your other guests had extraordinary reactions to? Extraordinary.
Okay.
Reactions.
Well,
high level reactions to guests that should be able to take it.
Is this thing? I don't know. Is this one of them? Hold on.
I want one.
There's so
Let me
many.
see.
Where
He did eventually meet Ken, who shares her sexual preference.
Oh, not
I
this.
was
No, not
technically a
this.
virgin until I was 29 years old. I was a zoophile up
No,
until then. And I just
no.
basically
Zoophile?
didn't have
Yeah, I don't.
But when
It's
I met
animals.
Ellie
No,
here,
no.
I
Okay.
No,
okay.
this
All
is
right. I
too
don't know. You said
much,
what
Tom.
you. Well, shit. I'm doing it on the fly, man.
It's a bummer. What about
I
the
don't wanna see
Trans
abuse of animals.
Trans Canada Highway?
No.
That's not weird enough.
No.
You know, my radio partner, Mike Catherwood, sends me weird stuff all the time. He goes on the dark web, and he's very fascinated with people that diarrhea on each other. I need to connect Tom and Mike up. Clearly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Clearly.
They diarrhea on each other, and it's a sexual
well,
thing.
you can't really do it on each other. Only one person gets to be the receiver, and one is the.
Oh, I got a
pitcher.
good one for you. I got a
I
good one
wouldn't
for
want
you.
to see that.
It's really awful, and I
Oh
just
my-
nearly vomit every time. And he finds great glee and delight.
People have
Oh
a
my
strong reaction to
God.
this. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
I'm your mom
this is
and you're
good.
my son, and I am falling in love with him.
Oh.
He said, "Are you really?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "You know what? I was scared to let you know too. I am too."
We're both consenting adults. If it comes
Were
down
they,
to
were
it,
they
you know,
separated?
it's just like
yeah.
it
There's a
is.
whole
They're,
phenomenon.
you know,
Yeah,
we used to
learned
do.
about
We did
as
this
long
on
as they're
HLN
over
a number
18,
of
everything's
times.
Wait.
fine.
And there's a woman I ended up interviewing several times who was in recovery from this. And so she can talk about what the delusion is like when you're in it and how people get into that and how they get out of it.
So you're saying because of the separation, the bond was...
It's distorted. Yeah, it gets all fucked up.
So how do you develop a romantic? You don't see them as a maternal figure.
It's just it's just all, it gets sexualized inappropriately and stuff.
So should you be able to marry your mom?
No. Because whenever...
Isn't it just like the gays, though?
What?
What?
That's what that guy says.
That's
I don't
what he
think you
says.
saw that, but he goes, it's just like the gays.
Well,
We're
you
consenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if we're both adults, why
Well, there
can't
are
I
laws
fuck my
against
mom?
the consanguinity and producing kids at that close. So,
Right.
You
Yeah.
can't do that. But I
have a question about
government overreach that we should get involved with that at all.
Yeah.
Now, I heard in college that you can have
is
sex with
at
your
Oxford?
cousins.
At
No, not
Oxford?
Oxford. This is
Okay.
University of San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
A lesser school.
Yeah.
And I was told that you can have offspring with your cousin, that you won't have.
You can with your siblings and with your mom, but the risk of trouble is there, really high.
But lesser so with cousins.
As you get further and further away, it's less so. And cousins is not that big a risk.
Right, like royalty used to marry.
Egyptian royalty married their kids.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's
and
pretty
they had
gross.
brothers and sisters and things. They did horrible
That's
stuff.
nasty as hell. That's
Yeah.
very bizarro.
Uh-oh.
At the kilometer marker,
Uh-oh.
7,128.
Uh-oh.
And this is where I believe, with a 90%, make that 95% chance that this is, in fact, the very place where the Trans-Canada paved its last section. Woo! Oh, yeah.
What?
Right here.
Yeah, it doesn't make
this
sense,
This is
right?
where the West meets
Oh,
the
it's like the golden spike was
East.
put in there, and
he's really I mean,
Woo-hoo! Oh, one more time down the middle. Oh.
this is like the guy with the double rainbows.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that guy was on drugs. Is this guy on drugs?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, this is a downhill section, fortunately. Oh.
This is drugs.
So weird. We never thought of drugs.
No, why didn't we think of drugs?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs were we talking about?
Maybe psychedelic. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Trans-Canada Highway.
It's odd, right? I mean, it's a lot.
Can I take a shower before I leave?
But it's oddly mesmerizing.
Yes, all of this is oddly mesmerizing.
Fuck! You guys are doing good. Tom, hurry up.
What?
Is that Charlie? Oh, dirty son of a. Come down later for moose soup.
It's
Moose
just
soup?
Moose soup,
Yeah.
yeah. She's watching this boat race and the guy falls in the water, and then she goes from like, you know, like you hear like fuck because he fell in to keep asking them to come over for moose soup that she's got later for them. Like,
What do you think she looks like, Drew? Like just on The Voice.
The granny from Beverly Hillbillies.
That's
Yeah.
pretty accurate. Yeah. His
What
spidey
does-
sense is
what does she
strong.
actually look like?
Like a granny from.
Yeah, you got it. Nailed it.
Yeah, you guys come down here after. I got moose soup and everything. All right, you guys are doing good.
It's not the right superlative.
Son of a bitch. Hey, I got you on video.
Duh.
She blows them.
Do we get to see her?
She blows
No.
them all later in a different video. Like
Seriously?
before, guys. Yeah, it's great.
No, Tom.
No, she doesn't.
Does she really look like the granny? You would never see what she looks like.
No, she does.
She looks like Cheryl
she,
Teagues.
she doesn't. No. She looks like
She's a mess.
It's kind of built and yeah.
Hey, good
It's
times.
like she has moose soup all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to go.
All right, okay.
I'm done. My work here is done.
Tapped out.
I'm tapped out. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for
It was
coming.
fun. I wish I'd had a clip to play you that would top everything. I was trying to
Get me
organize.
a winner. A top
Yeah,
eight.
yeah.
Can
I
you
feel
top
like
this video?
King Astroper. I mean, I'm actually pretty amazed at how not phased you are by all this. I mean, you have seen it all.
I have seen it all. Trust me.
Yeah.
Mostly when I see aberrant behavior, I'm either sort of oddly, intrigued, or I feel sad.
Yeah.
Those are the two feelings I get around. Like really, people do that, and then I get sad. Because I know how fucked up that is.
You're sad, but you're also empathetic.
So here's the thing.
Oh, Jesus, this bro.
I think we should go on strike against cum. A cum strike.
Oh, boy.
Keep going.
From now on, I am only going to swallow the cum of a man or put on my body the cum of a man who's willing to touch it or kiss me afterward.
She just felt like she's
Good for her. And she
Yeah.
plays a little Chopin and Beethoven.
Yeah, she's a smart lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
if he's not willing to touch this cum, I won't either.
Bold stance.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
There you go.
And just the
you
thing,
go.
she's probably somebody's piano teacher. She
Yeah,
probably-
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's extraordinary the stuff people will put online, isn't it?
That's our whole show. It's just, yeah.
But I mean the stuff they send you, I'm impressed. I got to get Catherwood in your my radio partner in your world.
Let's do it.
Because he goes on the dark web and he's a genius at finding horrible stuff.
Oh, please hook us up.
Yeah,
Will you
yeah.
please hook us up?
I will.
Okay. Yeah.
I have to just constantly erase his text from me. Just constantly.
Yeah. Just fucking let's do a group text. Start
Hey,
it.
can I ask you one last thing, though?
Yeah.
Just as a societal question, you're a smart guy and you seem to analyze stuff and where it's all going. I do feel like this lack of shame that we're now experiencing in our culture, like people posting cum strike videos, etc.
Yeah.
There used to be an element of like, hey, this is private versus public.
Oh, that's all gone.
Right. What are the consequences of that psychologically as a society?
I'm less worried about the mechanism of this manifesting as much as it is that people are running at it and using it all the time. In other words, they have no personal boundaries, so this is the perfect place for them to be boundaryless. It's not the technology's fault. That's an
Of
internal
course,
fault.
yeah.
I don't know what you guys are putting online, but I'm going to be looking. I'm imagining it's not going to be this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hoping.
No.
Tom laughed.
No.
No? No? Okay. And so it's we live in a time where people have been abused, their body boundaries have been violated, they have no personal boundaries, they've come from no unstructured family systems, and this is it. And shame is the sort of either they're overcome by shame or they're totally avoidant of shame. Those are sort of the two versions we have today.
And shame avoidance are narcissists.
Narcissists, exactly.
Wow.
Shame
We got
avoidance
lots of
is
that.
narcissism.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's
Shame,
really
narcissists
interesting.
refuse to feel ashamed of anything.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a real
they-
famous guy right now. We get to see him every day.
No, but really was like that was Clinton.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Clinton
Oh, right,
really was very slippery with shame,
Right.
and would just be these horrible, shameful things, and it just
I mean, yeah.
No, yeah.
I'm not
Depends
going
just by being
depends what is
an uber
Yeah, right.
narcissist.
Right.
uber narcissist, and that I'm surprised that has not come crashing down more.
Yeah,
So
I
than-
feel like there's a push for it more lately.
It's coming now. It's starting to come, and it's been. I always thought that was the most extraordinary exploitation of a underling. Just extraordinary.
Yeah.
In a place of business, can you imagine the person in the highest level of authority taking advantage of the person at the lowest level?
Yeah.
That CEO would go to jail.
Right.
Not only be in a civil problem, and if his wife came out and then tried to abuse the intern, she'd be in trouble too. It's it's just not okay. But I guess, like we said at the beginning, to be a president, you can't be all that healthy.
Yeah, for sure. For the record, Drew thought that the car crush video was funny. So that's just something on the record. I muted both of your mics. I muted both of your mics. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. This is Tom signing off. You said it was funny.
I said there's a funny part of it. It's
Stop
funny.
talking. Stop.
I said if it were the Three Stooges, it'd be very funny.
If it were in the context of fiction.
A
but
lot
it's
of people
not.
have sat there and said it was funny, by the way.
I understand why.
Yeah.
But I know the reality.
But those people are psychotic, right?
No. I could see why somebody would say that's funny.
See,
they
they're
were.
not
Let's put it this way.
psychotic.
First of all, they were not female. They were all male, which for sure, right? Because we
Interesting.
find violence funny.
Yeah.
Women, it's almost Three Stooges humor.
Is it because they're
almost-
dumber? Why?
It's almost the dividing line between men and women is Three Stooges humor.
Stupid.
My woman just looks at it and says it's stupid.
Because we create life and you guys destroy it. When you're
Pretty
a
much.
mother and you make life, the thought is
pretty much
ridiculous
pretty
to
much-
kill something.
We don't kill, we just destroy.
Maim.
Different
Yeah.
name. Yeah,
It's my
fun.
child.
That's
I think-
funny.
yeah.
Well, wait till your son gets older. You'll see.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, you'll see it.
Terrifying.
You will see it.
The destructive nature.
Oh, wait till your kid turns 14. I can't wait. I want to be here to do a podcast with you. You'll think it's
You're
great.
coming back. That
You'll think
means you'll
it's
come back.
Yeah. Sure.
Let's schedule it. Let's schedule it now.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Drew.
See you later. Thank you.
Do you know what that is? Gene. Put those on. It's a song made of
I
Bitsy
love you.
snorts.
Love you too.
Oh,
Thank you for having me. Everybody knows I'm a dog.
There you go.
I love the show. I love your mom's house. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. There you go.
I love your mom's house. Thank you for having me. Everybody knows I'm a dog.
I love you.
Love you too.
I love your mom's house. Thank you for having me. Everybody knows I'm a dog.
There you go.